Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right. That was still weird.
It's because my chair's sideways.
That's it. 1,
My arm was
2,
like conflicted.
3.
Told you. Bitch. Episode 21.
Oh. We're going to keep going. Right.
This is a
Episode
good one.
21. It was fucking, dude, that was fun.
This one reminded me of like the very first few we were doing. Like I got that like feeling of like, this is so good. This is fun. I like this.
I still have all those clips saved. Like I literally have a folder that says clips to save for like future reference. And it's just
Tub going stupid.
No, it's like it's different clips of us celebrating.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So our guest today is our good friend, Ryan Swanson. Fantastic fucking individual.
Hell yeah. I didn't know him like pretty much at all before this. So it was like my first real deep, genuine encounter with him.
Yeah.
So it was fucking great.
And it was solid.
Want to explain his connection to previous guest?
Yes. It is, remember Alex Peterson, our guest that was on before? It's her boo thing. That's Ryan.
Her baby daddy.
Baby daddy. Fantastic fucking dude, like I said. Has great stories, great views on life.
You guys will like this one.
A wonderful fucking conversation, dude.
If you listen to Alex's episode, this will kind of enrich that because you get further context.
Just how like
The entire other side
everything,
of it.
dude. How much they love each other, how much their stories connect, everything that just it comes full circle, and it's a damn good conversation. You know what I love about Ryan? Is like he's got like this fucking just lumberjack like man fucking feel to him.
Yeah, he's
Like
got
every time I'm around him, I'm like, yeah, I gotta toughen the fuck up with my scrawny ass.
he's got like the warm-hearted Papa Bear, but at the same time, like you said, lumberjack.
And will
feel.
also trash you if he gets a good joke going, dude. And he
I
can
fucking
fucking
bet.
wreck you.
Oh no, I can definitely see some self-esteem getting hacked down around him.
The other day, I was over at their house, and Alex and Ryan were sitting there, and they were going back and forth, bickering, like joking, bickering. And she is now going to hear this, knowing, oh shit, that's what he did. But he kept digging at her, and she's like, dude, like, all right, like we're done. The joke's done. And he looked over at me, and he just went, and he winked. And that meant that he was going to keep going, and he did. And she's like, I'm going to fucking stab you.
That's gold.
So, yeah, they're great.
So that's the person you're going to listen to.
And on that note, please welcome Ryan Swanson, and we're going to start it now. Do you want to clap with us?
Yeah, this whole clap thing.
You
I'm
want
just
to
gonna watch my hands
Yeah, this whole
You go
thing.
above.
Yeah.
So it's like the
easier.
Iceland clap.
Is that how they do it?
You never seen that? The Iceland soccer
actually
team?
Just heard about it.
Oh, they're like, it's called the
kinda wanna see it.
thunderclap.
Does it sound fucking mean?
It's so dope. Like when they were in the World Cup. Is the World Cup coming up?
Yeah, next year.
Next year. So the last World Cup, they had like a whole corner was their fans.
Fuck it, we're just gonna start here. Keep going.
And so they lost, but to like salute their fans, the fans started this clap, and it just slowly, and then it builds and clap, 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 and then they like roar. It's like an ode to their ancestries of Vikings.
So
you know,
sick.
it's so sick. Like as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I hope I'm Atlantic. I hope.
Have you ever done one of those? What is it? 30, whatever the
23andMe.
There you go.
Yeah, Alex got me one about a month ago.
And did you do it?
Not yet.
Why?
There were so many.
Precautions before you spit in the tube.
Yes,
Dude.
There is so many questions they ask you of what can we do with your DNA? Like, can we substitute out your DNA to other companies and have
no
them
shit.
test it? And I was like, you know, your mind starts going all weird where you're like, I don't want
Tinfoil hat
to
starts
see.
forming.
Yeah, I don't want to see like me 30 years from now.
Clone.
Or what if they like wipe us out and they're like, we got everybody in little spit tubes.
I never even thought about that.
So I'm thinking way too much about it. I just need to send that junk in and see.
Yeah. I mean,
They probably go, test it. All right, get this gross shit in the trash.
They're like, where's he from?
my
All
whole
right, whatever.
thing. My whole thing with that
He's
is
white?
just like they're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
It's not like we're gonna be like tracking our
You're
saliva.
like, you're
Yeah.
not getting my DNA, puts fingerprint and face scan on phone.
They say you gotta wait like 30 minutes after drinking or eating anything.
Yeah, and you can't brush your teeth.
Yeah.
And
I'm like, so
no sucking dick. Very small window.
he sucks dick.
Been 29 minutes. I'm almost there.
But we just got another review on the podcast.
Oh shit.
I should have brought my vial and I could do it on the podcast.
Oh, I would love to hear just
Yeah.
the
Just spitting in it.
Just,
And you gotta
stringy.
fill up this like
it's-
3-inch
you have to,
vial,
like,
dude.
accumulate spit. It's not just like a little, and then like you're done.
Alex
it's
is-
like,
Yeah.
and then and you just like fill that sucker up.
Alex's sister did it during Christmas morning and it ruined Christmas morning.
that sounds so fun.
She was just sitting there going, I am so sorry to all the people listening because those sounds, like
yeah.
Amelia started making like spit sounds,
Yeah.
and I want to push her away from me. When she'll walk up, and I'm like, get the hell
Dude,
away from
having
me.
the headphones on is so fucking crazy. We really need to buy headphones for everybody
Yeah.
so you guys can know. But like, you hear every like you think you're making some minor noises. Wait till you listen back on this. I hear everything in your cheeks, like all
Looks
of
like
it.
my
What
ears are
cheeks?
ringing.
What?
My cheeks,
Oh yeah.
my cheeky cheeks, my chickadee cheeks.
But fuck, what was the point I was going to make about the spit? Oh, that threw me back to high school. You know, when people
What?
like wrestlers would have spit bottles to lose weight. Did you ever have people that walked around with spit bottles? So to cut
Talking about tobacco?
no. It's to
That's
lose
spit?
to lose
Chewing?
water weight. Wrestlers will walk around with empty water bottles,
No way.
and they have to fill it, and they fill up the water bottle, and that's how much they know they've removed from their body. Genuinely, that's how they start cutting like
my
the minor
God.
amounts of weight off that they need to cut off.
Sounds
for-
like pure cotton mouth the whole time.
it's so gross. And they used to walk around like I had a buddy who just would walk around with like a bottle or two of his spit in his hands just so that he could like
Is he
record.
still your buddy?
No,
Good.
that was why.
Yeah.
Ever since he dumped a bottle on me.
Ever since I
Oh God! Could you imagine?
Ever since I
accidentally-
reached for my water in his car that day and drank his spit.
I want to throw up.
Can you imagine? Just,
Those kids get asked to read in class, and it sounds like wet plastic being crumpled because of all cotton mouth there.
dude, that used to
their
bug
mouth
me
is.
as a kid, like the sounds of spit in people's mouth when they would like be talking and you'd hear. It's like,
I can see why you'd want to push your daughter.
So you don't.
It's rooted.
So you don't like ASMR then?
who?
ASMR.
I don't know who that is.
So
I just spiked the fuck out of
they're videos. You know the videos where they whisper and like they tap bottles and they're. You've never seen an
Or like
ASMR
they
video?
eat food with a microphone right up to their face, and you hear like every little
fuck
sound
that,
of them
dude. I'm not
eating
gonna
food.
watch
You've never watched those?
And nor going to.
They're like eating like
It's now in
gumbo,
the
and you hear
category
them
of like
slurping
two
it.
girls, one cup.
Oh,
I'm not gonna- no, I've never watched that either.
On the
Some people, I've talked to people and they're like, yeah, someone made me watch it. And I'm like, really?
they're holding your eyes open
Yeah,
like
I was
Bird
like,
Box.
oh yeah. They just like freaking
Look at it.
put toothpicks in your eyelids and just
Oh god,
watch.
God damn, this is fucking
cringy as
awful.
fuck already.
The whole drinking the fucking spit bottle reminded me when I was a
Oh,
kid.
good.
Why is there more?
Look, dude.
spit is
Okay,
such a
you make
trigger
mistakes.
point for you.
You make mistakes as
Before
you
we
grow
start
up.
this, can we do the clap, please? We did do it, and I refuse
That way-
to not do it.
You want to just do it in the middle?
We could, yeah.
Okay, I guess on the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
All right,
Nice.
sick.
Okay,
I
hope
refuse
you
to
know
go
that-
an episode without.
that sounded
Oh.
like one clap.
Yeah,
That's the
what-
goal.
that
One
is-
clap.
I'm glad you actually hit it with us. We had 3 people fuck it up.
But they got it the second try.
Yeah.
It wasn't Alex, right?
No, Alex, I think got
That's
it on
my
the
She,
first
girl.
try.
she got
That's
it.
my
You can
girl.
hear. You can hear it at the beginning of her episode. She's like, "Oh, I did it." Your point.
So I was in the car on the way home with my dad, and he had run into the shop to grab cigarettes really quick. And this was when I was probably like 10. And he had Starbucks coffee. And like, you know, like when you're a kid, you don't always get the treats that you want. And like your parents will limit you on things. So if you see Starbucks coffee or something, you're just like, I could take a sip of that real quick. I took a sip of it, and instantly just went, like, didn't swallow it, but it was in my mouth. And my dad came walking out of the cigarette shop. Rather than throwing his cigarettes out the window or using an ashtray, he would use the small amounts of coffee that were left over in his cups. So I looked in the cup and there were 4 cigarette butts in there.
Oh my God.
I had gotten a mouthful of coffee and I went home. I kept it in my mouth the entire way home.
Oh my
Because I didn't want to get in trouble because back then,
You're
like,
going to get mouth cancer.
again, love my dad. Love my dad.
Did you get
Great
mono
guy.
after that?
No. Love my dad. Great guy. When we were kids, like, if you fucked around, you got in big shit. Like, you didn't ever, screw around him.
He was chief.
So I just kept the coffee in my mouth, and it was like a 5-minute drive home. Maybe like 10 almost.
Good on you.
So, Nick, buddy, how's your day?
He tried talking to me, and I was just like, And I couldn't swallow anything. It was just sitting in my mouth. Just
That was the day you became a man.
I just felt the hair
Nick,
shoot
Nick, I
out of
can
my
see
chest.
facial hair forming on your face as seconds pass.
Tobacco and coffee were just...
My balls just dropped right there. Voice got this deep, and it's been that deep since. Shout out to cigarette coffee.
Ew, that's so fucking gross.
This
That's
is
pretty
really
gnarly,
gross.
dude. That's gross.
What did you want to? You said you were going to talk about something with the.
Yeah, I just in regards to you guys' podcast and the guests you guys have had on, I just want to do a shout out to, I think his name is Caleb,
Yeah.
the guy who came on military, built his own house.
Yeah.
And Tess, you guys' stories are amazing. And if you're listening, good on you for just owning everything. And it was an honor listening to your guys' podcast. So you guys are awesome people. And I think you guys are awesome for having people on like that.
Thank you.
So they're able to share their story, and you're giving people that platform to share their story.
Yeah.
You know,
That's cool on you, dude.
allowing people to be open and vulnerable. And I think that was really, really dope.
Yeah. That's cool on you. Thank you. Because
Yeah, seriously.
we like hearing people's feedback, period. But just sometimes there are cases where they don't get to hear the feedback from people because some people don't want to reach out. They don't want to intrude, all those different things. But to have you say that here where Tess listens to every episode. So
literally like the morning it posts, like I'll go to break at work and she'll sit right next to me and she'll like start talking to me about a part that's like an hour away from where I'm at.
because she starts on her drive to work and she
okay.
gets to work at 6. So
And
she starts somewhere around 5:30.
And our buddy Sean starts even earlier.
Oh, yeah,
He starts
his-
at 2 a.m. We post at midnight. He starts at 2 a.m. So he's done by the time I'm like
Awake.
getting up for work and like everything, like it's 5 a.m. and everything. He's already listened to it.
Wow.
That night, that
Sold out.
actually makes me want to work even harder at getting them out on time because I went over to Ryan and Alex's house and I had passed out there and woke up at like 1 or 1:30.
Was this
and
the other night?
Yeah, and hadn't even edited the podcast yet, and that was Thursday morning, and I was like, oh no. So I wonder. Oh yeah, Thursday is his early day. Wonder if I posted it up late and he was wondering where it was.
Maybe.
Huh? That's cool.
Well, one other podcast though, by far the best was my boo,
Oh,
Alex.
right. I mean,
How dope is she, dude?
she?
She's the dopest dope.
Alex is. You both are just wonderful fucking people, man.
I'm dope because she's dope.
That's
I'm
it.
dope because she's dope.
No.
Just and then you guys got the coolest little kid.
Yeah.
Amelia is just
Amelia
this
Wren.
fucking wonderful little kid. I love you guys' family. I always tell you this. It's really dope just to come over to your guys' place and hang out because it's like very family oriented. It's very like comfortable when you get there, and
cool.
like you just walk in. There's no like forced conversation. Like you the other night, you were just playing your game. I walked in. You're like, "What's up, dude?"
I
That's
don't
it.
play video games.
No,
No, I'm just kidding.
but it's just nice. I like your guys' little family.
That's cool. I mean, I think that's a really cool thing to get to do for people. Mm-hmm. You know, just that's kind of what we've always wanted with our home is for people to just feel like they belong.
Yeah.
They could just come as they are, bring what you got, you know, whether it's chill or if it's like we've had people live with us. Like when we lived in Arizona, one of our friends was in a really shitty situation and we're in a 1-bedroom apartment and we're just like, hey, come live with us. Like,
That's fucking cool.
not to toot our horn, but that's just that's what we want people to feel. We want people to feel welcome. We want
That's your
people to
guys'
feel,
dynamic. It's not tooting your own horn. It's literally like that's ingrained in you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fucking fantastic, dude. And you really do have that. Like as a friend, you get that feeling. You know that that's there.
Sweet.
Yeah. So whenever I hit you guys up, like through all that bullshit, like I brought it up with Alex and Caleb a lot. Once I started to get to know you more, it was cool to just be able to get your perspective on it too. And so it wasn't just going to like, you know, get all of the emotion out to Alex. It was like there's Alex and Ryan. And then especially when we went out to Doghouse that one night and we had that talk.
Dude,
Oh, I love
have you been
Doghouse.
craving it lately?
Yes.
I have been craving it and craving it. Oh my
my
God.
fucking God.
Are you busy?
I'm sorry to interrupt.
I could sit there for hours, dude.
Dude. Oh,
Hours.
Are you
Not
busy?
with Nick, though, because he makes you feel fat when you order more food.
Okay.
I had a hot dog. I ordered a hot
He's
dog.
like, I hope my half order of fries already.
Yeah, I ordered a hot dog and a beer, and we were talking hours gone by. And I'm like, I'm going to go get some tots. He's like, oh, really?
I did not say
I'm like, oh, you know what? Fuck you, dude. You know,
Ryan, Are you sure?
I
You're gonna go get some
enjoy
tots?
food, all right?
Ryan can very perfectly over exaggerate things and make it sound so goddamn believable. Because I definitely did not say that. I was like, oh damn, you could actually put those down too. Like I'm fucking.
What's the difference?
like the
What's the
same
difference?
Okay, well in my head it doesn't sound that so fucking.
Wow, you can really put food away, can't you?
Oh, even worse is the two.
Bottomless pit,
Just start
huh?
rubbing my stomach like, damn, I'm already full. No.
Oh, you're a
I can
growing
see.
boy.
Well, it's not just the damn you can really put those down, but it's you could put those down too, as if like the original entree wasn't
Wow.
enough.
Oh, those also, huh? Oh,
And,
the third time.
But for people who
I'm
don't,
gonna go ahead and tune out.
I want to say for people who don't know what Doghouse is, because not everybody
No, you gotta say it
listens.
right. Dog house.
Doghouse.
Doghouse.
That not everybody who listens is from out here, and there are even people out here who probably don't eat there.
Aren't they a chain?
Yeah,
I don't.
they
Yeah.
are.
I don't think they're just out here.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you have one
There's a
around,
lot in
go get
Southern
one.
California.
But the bombest fucking hot dogs and their burgers are fucking amazing. But what like sets them away from everyone else above the pack is they don't use regular bread. They use Hawaiian rolls. And oh my God.
Shout out to the Hawaiians.
Nut.
It's really fucking tasty.
It is.
It's so fucking bomb.
And
I
I
didn't
for
realize
anybody
that until
there.
the second time I went there, and I'm like, wait a minute, the buns. Oh my gosh, the buns are
Hawaiian
Hawaiian
rolls.
rolls.
And
Yes.
anybody that's vegetarian or vegan, they also have those options there.
Yeah, they're
Or
fucking good.
I think they have vegetarian. I know they have vegetarian. I think they have vegan options, but regardless, it's damn good.
you can cheat.
Hey man, you gotta
I'm
throw
not saying anything. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
You didn't say anything.
I've never seen anyone say fuck vegans with their face more.
Oh man.
Oh shit.
When we lived in Arizona, they an In-N-Out had just gotten put in the town we were at, and I was at the counter, and this lady and her family rolls up, and they're like, "Yeah, so can I get what's number one? And what's animal style? That's weird. That's what is that?" I'm like, "See, In-N-Out never should have left California. It's not for anybody but Californians. This is ours."
Because everyone in California, I don't know if anyone knows this, but like they actually did a study on it. You were born with the secret menu implanted in your brain. So you already know, oh yeah, give me a 4x4 animal style chopped chilies.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right.
Oh
we
my
got
gosh,
you.
I've never gotten chopped chilies
Oh, it's
before.
so bomb. You just walk up, oh, give me a Flying Dutchman. They're like, one on, ready, right here. Here you go, sir.
A Flying
So
Dutchman?
before they had that, which is fries on your burger, right?
A Flying Dutchman? No. Is it? I don't.
See, now we don't even sound like we're real
See, I
Californians.
was actually born in Arizona, so I don't know. I don't even know what a number one is. No, but there's protein style, which is no bun,
Right.
lettuce buns.
Yeah.
Flying Dutchman, which I honestly don't even fucking remember. I just remember people going, hey, you can get a Flying
I
Dutchman.
think
I'm
a
like,
Flying
that sounds
Dutchman
fucking cool.
is fries with two patties.
Oh no shit.
Like it's animal style fries, but with two patties on top that have cheese on them.
Oh, that sounds.
You can also
really
order
bomb.
grilled cheese,
Yeah.
and they also have hot chocolate.
Yes.
Hot chocolate's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
Oh, and they have monkey style.
what's
okay,
monkey style?
so
Fries on your burger.
I looked that up, and it says that you can order it, but I actually went there and I was like, "Do you guys know what monkey style is?" They're like, "No." And
What?
yeah, I
I've
guess.
seen people do it though. They probably
Oh well, then
They
threw
probably
the fries
describe
on
it.
there
then it's the one near us.
and then was like, look at it.
It's like, yeah, one time I went and I was like, can I get a McGangbang? And they're like, the fuck is
Oh
that?
my god!
I wonder if you could actually order that at a McDonald's.
Can I get the chicken sandwich?
You used to be able to get a McGangbang. Like when I was in high school, like people could walk up, and if the employees knew, like then like you just walk up, oh, can I get a McGangbang?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we got
I
you.
had friends that used to get it all the time.
That was like the high school, like that was the fucking best meal in high school.
Yeah,
and then I
everybody talked
realized
about that
how
shit.
disgusting McDonald's is.
Oh, I know. And they've like actually improved their food since, but I still refuse to eat there.
Oh yeah, I'm boycotting it. I'm boycotting it until the day
There's
I
times
die.
when I just crave McDonald's fries, though.
The fries, I'm there with you. Like
what's
the fries
in the
are different.
fries? Something's in these.
It's probably with like lard.
MSG, just
Yeah,
all of
MSG, a whole shit ton of that.
Just pour a whole fucking thing of it in there. The one thing that I did hear that there was a video on as well, I believe, was that they made their sweet tea in mop buckets, and I was like, I'm cool.
come on, that's not real.
Hey, if it's a
way.
clean, but if it's a clean bucket, what's the difference?
I don't think so.
That's my point. Is like I don't
So
like
they're just
that.
picking up the mop bucket and being like, there it is.
and then just
It's not
pour
like
it.
it's.
yeah,
it
no,
in.
I don't think so. It's like standard across all McDonald's. They're like, please, can we just please
It
use a
sounds like
regular?
a
They're like,
barbecue
no.
pit and like the salad. Like, oh, we're gonna make that sweet tea. Got no jug. Put it in the mop bucket, damn it. Shit fire, it works.
I remember how pissed people were when they found out that the Applebee's margaritas was a concentrate and water. And they were like, I can't believe they put water in the margaritas. I'm like, do you not know what a concentrate is? It needs water.
And on top of that, it's a fucking $1.
Yeah, literally.
What do you? Oh, I want a $1 margarita.
I
It tastes
want
like
a
a
pure
12
shot.
like a $12 margarita. I want top shelf. Like fuck you. It's $1.
Yeah, you're getting an Applebee's Dollarita. Please lower your
It's
standards.
called a Dollarita. It's not even a margarita.
Yeah, it almost
It's-
sounds like water. It's a waterita. You know what you're paying for.
Have you
and
guys
not
ever
pay
had that
much.
Irish trash can at Buffalo Wild Wings?
I've watched two of my buddies put down one, and I just kind of like sprinkled them with holy water as they did it.
They're sneaky.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh, do they creep up on you?
Oh yeah, like during the 2000, I think it was 2014 NHL playoffs when the Kings were in it. We would go every game to Buffalo Wild Wings, and we went broke that month.
Describe to people who don't know what an Irish trash can is.
So Irish, there's probably like 10 different
Liquors.
in it. There's I think there's like blue liqueur. There's a Red Bull on top. There's vodka.
The Red Bull is the biggest thing. It's the big can.
Yeah, it just sits right on top, and as
And then
you
you-
drink it, it empties and drains more.
Oh, I was getting
But there's literally like 10 different
a trash
alcohols
can
in
mixed
it.
up with a car bomb. Okay,
no.
now I can see why the fucking trash can would destroy you. I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
know there were 10 different
They
liquors in
taste so good, but yeah, after like 4 of them, they sneak up on you.
it. After 4
That's not sneaking up. That's a tidal wave.
That's true.
Nick's like, well, you can really put those down.
Wow. Was that your
Did you
fourth
forget
order of
we're in
wings?
public?
Jeez.
Oh fuck, maybe I am an asshole.
Anyway, I'll have my Dollarita.
Can I get $1 right off, please?
Oh shit. Before this we were talking about bungee jumping versus skydiving, and how Ryan and I are on the same page with we wouldn't go bungee jumping, but we'd go skydiving, and Caleb's all for both.
Yeah, I'm for both. I mean, and the stats are the same. It's 1 in 500,000 deaths for both.
I just feel like it's situational.
Have you seen one of the coolest videos I've seen is when this guy bungee jumped from a hot air balloon. They had
Holy
to have been
shit.
like 15, 20,000 feet up in the air.
Oh my God.
And the bungee jump he jumped and it just kept going and going and going like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet. And then it hit its tension.
Yeah.
And he snapped back up. And so like in that zero gravity moment when it's like getting ready to go back down, he disconnected his bungee and then skydived the rest of the
what
way.
a badass.
See, that's fucking sick. That's where I'd go bungee jumping.
I'd go bungee jumping 20,000 feet.
if I
With a
had
parachute?
If I had a parachute.
You accidentally pull the cord of your parachute and hang yourself.
That's where I would do it. But
Yeah, it was sick, man.
that's fucking cool. I've never.
Yeah.
I want to look that up.
I think there's another one where there's 2 bungee or 2 hot air balloons and there's like a
Tightrope.
No, like a kind of like just a beam attached to the both of them, and the guy goes out on that. And I think it was probably for just more stability.
Would you ever go like on a tightrope over like a cliff?
So that's really funny. That's weird that you brought that up, because that's what I was thinking about, and I was going to bring that up too. Was like one of those big ass swings, or like a
like in Utah.
I follow a guy on
swing?
Instagram. Yeah. Oh, the big swings. I do a big swing over the tightrope. But
wait, are you talking about
he's
walking a
talking like
tightrope?
Walking a tightrope.
Hell fucking no. What? What?
I follow this dude on Instagram.
You got a parachute though.
Okay, if I have a parachute, then yeah.
I follow this dude on Instagram, and he will go like over humongous cliffs, and just from one side to the next, they'll nail their tightrope down into the ground, and they will walk that shit.
I still understand how it's even possible. Like I'm not saying none of it's any of it's fake, but it's just I don't get it.
Yeah,
like how do you stay balanced?
Slack
on this?
line. That's what it's called.
Oh, slack. They do slack line?
Yeah, because like when they get to the middle of it, it like sways, and they'll sit there and they'll like balance themselves.
Oh, so not tightrope, but slack line.
Yeah.
What the fuck is the difference? Is one
The
just
slack
loose?
line has
slack
some
to it.
slack and give to it.
You can,
a
like,
tightrope
bounce and
is just
jump
like
off
a
of it.
wire where
It's completely tight. No, it's a slack line.
Nope.
And like I've walked across a slack line before. Like we were camping one time by the beach, and we tied it from tree to tree. It's actually, if you do it for like, say you do there with your buddies, you do it for like an hour, you actually pick up on it pretty quickly.
Yeah. I would imagine so. I mean, it's eventually like you just get used to the weird balance of it.
Yeah.
But
and the smacking to the nuts after. The tough
my
time.
little brother took one hard.
that sounds awful.
Yeah, but and apparently from what I understand, the longer the slack line and the more slack, I believe like the easier it is to balance on it because like there's more room for error.
A little more give.
Yeah, and so there are dudes that like legit are in the middle of the slack line over this cliff, and they look like they're surfing with how they're like balancing on the line. And that shit is fucking trippy because the only thing they have to keep them from dying is just like a safety clip clipped onto the line, and if they fall, that shit catches them, and then they grab the line and get back up again some fucking how, and then we'll walk the rest of it.
But even the people that do it without the safety line, I don't get it.
It's
like dude, you mess up, you're done.
Yeah,
so
it's like
you're just ready to go.
Yeah, you have to like be so goddamn confident and a little bit of crazy to actually pull that shit off. It's like the dude who did the free climb of El Capitan in Yosemite, and he climbed that entire shit with no gear.
The fact that he did it in 3.5 hours,
was
amazing.
That it?
Yeah, it was either 3.5 or 5.5 hours. It was somewhere in that window.
Fuck.
You've been to Yosemite?
Oh yeah,
in the valley, like at the base of El Cap,
dude.
Like we went.
It's
in the
bigger
winter
than skyscrapers. It's fucking humongous.
Like we went in the winter and just stand at the base. I'm like, this is incredible. Like I can't believe this is a real, like not man-made, totally just nature.
What exactly? Okay,
it's just magnificent.
I was looking up something because I wanted to bring up like mountain climbing and stuff like that. What was the thing that you guys were talking about?
We're talking about free solo.
4 minutes shy of 4 hours.
Yeah,
fucking insane.
And what's the
height?
The height?
Let's see.
It like, I think it's like 2,000 feet.
What were you gonna ask, Nick?
Free soloing, just climbing up, right?
Yeah. He did it with no ropes. Just
no
hands
ropes, no
and
gear. Yeah,
just
like a
chalk
fucking monkey.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fuck no. There's no.
So in my opinion, those are the craziest motherfuckers. Free climbers.
Yeah.
Like there's
3,000 feet.
Yeah. He climbed 3,000 feet, and that's not straight up. That's
it's like
there's
jagged.
part of his line would go up, and then he'd have to come down and go over
shit.
and then up and then down again. It's all these. You can't just like
it's a path.
straight
There's
line.
a different. Yeah.
And so he'd be on like the east side of it, and then he'd have to like come down and come over to the west side of it, and then go up, and then it was just like back and
not
forth.
all of it is like straight up. Some of it is even further.
Kicked
inclined.
out.
So you're climbing with gravity to your back.
Fuck. God damn it.
No fucking gear.
Yeah, dude.
That
Those are the craziest
I feel
people.
so uncomfortable right now. Genuinely, like my body,
Your skin's crawling.
Like you're going up.
Your skin is crawling.
Rather than straight up, or like you said, it's not going with you. You're not leaning against it. It's going against you.
Have you ever just been rock climbing, like just with a rope and?
No, I really want to.
Like a man-made wall and everything. It's even a sketchy feeling.
You're talking
on
about the man-made. Yeah.
That's even a sketchy feeling. Like I did like a 50-foot one, and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this. Like, you're good. You're tied out. I'm like, no, I'm gonna fall, man. This is not.
There's like cushion pads down at the bottom and everything.
You're wearing
like,
a parachute.
There's like 3 people holding you, bro. You're good.
I can't come down. You guys have a ladder?
You have a parachute for a 50-foot climb, bro.
The reason why I brought up my phone was because I was gonna bring up a point about climbing mountains and whatnot. My cousin lives up in Washington and constantly goes on these fucking insane hikes. I have to show you the views because you would lose your mind. I know how much you like going out. And he wears like hiking boots with spikes, and he has all the gear and everything because he goes climbing up mountains that have like a 45 degree, if not more, angle. And he's like digging his feet in with every single step, and he's by fucking self. Like in the middle where bears are at, mountain lions, like all of that shit out in the middle of just Washington.
Better hope he has the same skill set as that Colorado jogger.
Oh, by the way, that was bullshit. Apparently,
No way.
Apparently,
he faked it.
No, it wasn't faked. It was a cat. It was like a bob.
Oh yeah, the guy who put jujitsu moves on the
mountain lion.
Yeah. It wasn't as big as they said when they found it.
As big as they said.
It was a mountain lion, but it wasn't like a 45-pound
baby.
cat.
Oh, I never got
it was a baby.
Oh, I never got a size to it.
Getting right out of the.
I mean,
you kill a mountain lion with your hands, you got respect from me.
Regardless, it is dope, but it's not as like fucking crazy as it sounds because
it's fishing trip. I caught one this big.
It's a baby, and it's got sharp claws, but it doesn't have its fighting capabilities down. It was like 18 pounds, and
I just think like when I heard that story,
he's actually chasing after it.
They actually made that
like,
joke.
Shit, dude. Where's my mom?
I was just hanging out. But yeah, apparently there was bullshit.
Come here, motherfucker. I'm going to be a hero.
When I heard that story, I'm like, there's no way, dude. Like, you think about like wrestle your, like I was wrestling our 40-pound little German Shepherd puppy.
Yeah.
And I was just on my back and I was just moving his head around with my hands. And after like a minute of him just going out, I was like, oh man, dude, he's strong.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm thinking about, I'm like, come on, dude, 150 pounds. Even if it was like an 80-pound cougar, there's no way.
Especially with the claws.
Yeah.
And
the amount of force like they generate, like animals are no fucking joke. Because
we have different.
Look at deer. Deer are like fucking taking out people.
Yeah, deer kill people.
Oh yeah, they'll kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Even like if you think about us as human beings, like you have everything from normal to like you have to kill something, and then there's like the whole playing aspect, and there's different levels of playing, and like you can either roughhouse or you can just like joke around playing. But with an animal, it's like normal, one mode of play, and then they're gonna rip your fucking throat out. And it's like that's why when you were talking about getting tired with your dog, they're just kind of going back and forth for a little bit. But if they really do decide they want to get angry and play a little bit too hard, they're going to go for the neck because they don't tire. They're just like, it's survive.
It's that nature. It's that wild nature. I mean, and that's the thing too, is they're so fast.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine, like whenever we go hiking, I always have like my knife on me, and it's a good sized knife. And I'm always telling Alex, I'm like, babe, fucking cougar's got nothing. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna freaking go right up on it.
Yeah,
but guess
that would
what?
be the end. That would be the end of me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
No doubt. Like I'd probably give a good fight because
you're like, I'd throw it and run.
I got my girl and my daughter. Like that fight or flight.
Yeah,
but
your instincts will kick in.
That cougar's walking out of there.
I think the thing is you would defend them with your life because that's what is going to happen is you're going to die.
I think
so
I'm
you
gonna
fight until they get away.
I think I'm gonna go like Harry Potter Voldemort type thing when they're falling off the castle. Like I'm gonna grab that dude. I'm going for the cliff.
It's a flat path, but somehow you just make it.
Like, where's the fucking cliff?
We've been rolling for fucking hours.
When you grab the cougar by the neck, you accidentally like choke it and make it pass out, and it's like completely unconscious in your hand, but you're still running for the cliff. You're like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be a hero.
That's what that guy said too. That he choked out the thing.
Yeah, he said he put his knee on its neck.
Moves and like choked it. I'm like, no.
Don't get me wrong. If you're gonna take down a fucking huge ass animal, I think the only thing that would save you would be jujitsu.
Yeah. Oh yeah, probably. I totally agree.
But if you really think about like when any animals
I
get,
was about to say, think about like, have you ever tried
they
holding like your little
fucking
cat?
rip out, dude.
Yeah.
They'll find a way out.
And you're like,
yeah. So imagine like, yes, he's
that's
doing
a,
it
that's
to
an 8 pound, not even 8 pound cat.
yeah.
6 pound cat.
Right. And then you have to include the fact that like an 18-pound mountain lion has claws that are way bigger than a normal house cat.
Oh yeah.
And they have
And
different
no
kinds
remorse.
of no remorse. They have different kinds of strength. They're literally out there looking for food. So you're food at that point. Like, nah. You can choke
Even
that thing.
bobcats.
Yeah.
Like when we lived in Arizona, we do jobs in Scottsdale, and it's real like mountainous area.
Uh-huh.
People would have bobcats in their yards, and there were stories of just people like their dogs would have encounters with the bobcat, and the dogs' bellies would just be sliced open
Oh, I
because the
bet.
bobcat would just
Fuck
dog
them
would
up.
go at him, and the
Jesus,
bobcat would
man.
just slice them right open. I'm like,
Their claws are like razors.
Have you heard what like mountain lion screaming sounds like?
Is that
in the
fucking video
woods?
with the cop you were showing
Yes. So like people,
is it terrifying?
dude, it legit. Okay, so apparently,
You can
like,
pull it up. I don't give a fuck. Like,
well,
because
well,
even audio would pick up through here. So if
Yeah.
like you wanted to show him,
I can pull it up, but like, apparently, like back in the day, like the like old town rumor or wives' tale or whatever legend was
Yeah,
like,
legend.
if you hear a woman getting murdered in the woods, don't go looking because you won't come back. And
What?
because a mountain lion, when it's screaming, it sounds like a woman getting murdered.
dude, it's the eeriest fucking noise.
And when it's in the woods and it's not right next to you, it like echoes and adds a little like deeper sound to it. And so like people in pretty mountainous areas, from what I understand, if they don't know already, like cops will get calls from residents going like, I think a woman's getting murdered in the woods. And every time they go check, it's a mountain lion.
That's crazy.
And it's
dude.
because those things, are you pulling it up?
No, I was
Just
going
say
to type in something.
it's because those things have the fucking scariest noise to them.
The thing that I was going to bring up.
Well,
Go ahead.
The last point is, and lynxes sound like people too.
Really?
There's a lot of animals. I'm slowly realizing over time, a lot of animals sound like humans, and it's bone chilling. The three that I can think of off the top of my head is mountain lions. When they scream, they sound like a woman being murdered. Lynxes, when they scream, or bobcats, sound like women yelling, and crows or ravens sound like people when they can talk.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I don't know if you know, but they can talk. They're like parrots. They can like
That's
hear.
crazy. I never knew that.
They can hear people's voices and then mimic the exact noise.
Well, they say ravens are one of the smartest birds.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. They're. If you just look up like fun facts about ravens, you'll shit your pants.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. They have a raven, and I think it was in a zoo in Ohio. And no, it was in New Mexico. It was a zoo in New Mexico, and this is totally irrelevant details. But there's just a raven at the zoo, and the keeper of the raven taught it how to speak, and so he named it Joe. So whenever he saw it, he'd be like, "Hi, Joe," and it would look up at him and be like, "Hi, Joe." And then
clear as day too.
The one phrase he taught it was, "The hangman's coming."
What?
Yes. And so you like
pretty
walk
dope.
up to the raven, and you're like, "Why is there a fucking raven at the zoo? This is so lame." And he'd look at you and be like, "The hangman's coming."
I'm done. Great raven.
Oh, just kidding.
I can't-
Coolest animal here.
Find the fucking term. You might know because you, like I said, you like going outside, all that fun stuff, all the hiking and
I climb trees.
climb trees and
I climb trees.
not mountains, trees.
I climb trees.
So when
I climb trees.
my cousin was out there and he was up on that mountain, he actually posted up on Snapchat immediately after. He's like, "Oh shit!" Like he had started sliding down the mountain because it was steep as shit, full of snow. And there is a way to stop yourself. I forget the term though. So if you're ever sliding down a mountain,
Panic?
yes, if you're sliding down a mountain on your back, you're supposed to kind of turn to your side, so like your left
Yeah.
or right side, and then rotate to your front so that you can then kind of get in. It looks like a push-up position, and so you kind of like put all fours out and hold yourself out and kind
Yeah.
of bend your back a little bit, and it's basically pinning yourself to the mountain, and that's how you stop. which I mean, without gloves on, that would fucking suck. But
I don't know the term, but yeah, that does work because I've actually seen it work. When we, like a couple of years ago, I went hiking with some buddies and we went and did Beta and Powell, which is just right here, right by Mountain High. And we went during the winter and there's a lot of snow and we saw a lot of hikers coming down with like poles, and they had like the little attachments for their boots that give them some more tread. And I'm like thinking, we're like in our just normal shoes, and it's a 4-mile hike up to the summit.
Oh, Jesus.
And anyway, we get about probably like a mile in, and my buddy Mikey, you guys, I don't know, Mikey Hopper. Never heard of him. Great guy, really, really great guy. So it's switchback trail, and it's a really thin trail, and we went in the spring and it was still really thin, or narrow trail. And so in the winter when it was snowing, it was even more narrow. And then because so many people were hiking it, it was packing down. So it was getting really slippery, and he slipped.
Oh shit.
And it's, when you're hiking, it's really, it's at
Steep?
like a really steep angle.
So it was like he was falling down stairs, basically.
Yeah. So he fell and slipped, and I was at the front and I looked back and he's on his belly, like panicking. He looked right at me and he's like, oh no. And I told him, like, go, just make yourself big, like put your arms and legs out and just start reaching and stomping into the ground, like punt, like get through the snow.
Yeah.
And this old like tree that had fallen down he had caught that tree and like the roots. Shit. If he would have gone past that, he had like 300 feet of just open.
Oh, he went
mountain.
fucking far.
Yeah.
How far did he end up? What'd you say?
He slid probably like 30, 40 feet.
Still, that's terrifying. That's a far fall, dude.
If he would have missed that tree, he would have, I don't know if he'd still, if he would have gotten like fucked up bad, but it's scary. Like after that, we were like, all right, let's turn around. Like we don't have the gear for this. Like we're just in normal hiking shoes, not winter
some regular
shoes.
Joes.
Yeah. I'm in my Nikes.
Yeah, that's not it's not the smartest.
But yeah, it was scary, man. I was like, whoa. And then after that we laughed. We're like, that was awesome.
Let's do it again.
God, you could have died.
I when I go and look at trails on All Trails for the hikes, whenever it says like intermediate or like hard or whatever the fuck it says, and it says like, oh, you need actual hiking, I skip over that one. I'm like, no, I'm cool, because you have no fucking idea, dude.
Yeah.
Like I went on a hike like a week ago with my buddy Sean, and we were hiking up certain parts that, like, if you don't have grip on your shoes, you can easily slip out.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and that was considered like an easy course. So I could imagine like intermediate is just fucking rocks and hills and just, different pathways that you have to take rather than a normal one. And I'm good. I'm not trying to die.
There's some of those, I think most of them are right. We went hiking once and it was like the Santa Monica Mountains. So I knew it wasn't going to be anything like gnarly. But all their reviews on it were like typical like LA hiker reviews, and
this is hard.
They're like, oh my god, it was such a intense hike. And
the trail is not vegan.
The trail wasn't really marked out all that great. It was like an access road, dude.
It's not animal cruelty free.
This is right above like Encino, and I'm like, what? This is like a dog walking
There's a railing.
It wasn't a clearly labeled path.
There really was an area where like half of it was paved. And it went up to like a water tower. I'm like, what? This is lame. And so I've come across a few trails like that, and the reviews are just, oh man, it was intense.
Oh,
it's crazy. And then you get to it, you're like, oh.
That's why, like, when it comes to reviews, unless it says like specific hiking gear, and it's like, no, you genuinely need like, what are they? The sticks that they have, the poles,
hiking poles.
The fucking, if you don't have poles and like, good shoes, or
you're gonna
like,
die.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'll just avoid those ones.
I brought my toothed Kershaw dagger and I thought it was enough. I had turned back halfway through.
Shorts, a tank top, and a dagger. I thought it was good.
There's definitely like I always trip out on when I hear on the news, people are like, yeah, so hikers were rescued today by our fire department and helicopter. And I'm like, how do you get yourself in those situations? Like,
Probably
when
fall
it
back,
starts to
fall
get-
down a switchback and don't catch a tree.
Probably. I was wondering, I'm like, if it gets too sketchy, don't you just like, we should probably, no, let's not do that, you know?
Yeah.
But these people are like in canyons and deep and these like weird cliff areas and they're down just hanging on. I'm like, how the hell did you end up there?
No.
But
No, so like you said, you should turn around once you see something that
Yeah.
you should be able to look at something with common sense, which apparently not a lot of people have.
it's not common.
And go, yeah, no, that's not good. I'm gonna
Yeah.
turn around. Like
Yeah.
that one's not for me.
Have you guys ever gone cliff jumping?
Yes. Love it.
Oh, like
It's-
into like a lake.
Like into water.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
not swan diving into rocks.
That's
Did
what we
you
were
see
talking
that
about, like-
video of those like that tribe? Have you ever seen that tribe that they literally do like a bungee jump and they've been doing it for like hundreds of years? They make like their own kind of tower out of like trees and sticks and vines, and they'll make like a bungee rope out of vines and everything. And but their thing is not to like get caught by the vine and be saved. Their whole thing is take the hit on the ground.
What the fuck?
That's like part of their culture. They're like jump, and the higher you jump, the more of a fucking man you are. They're
What
just
the
like,
What of a man you are.
So like, dude, this guy jumps and he's just like face onto the dirt,
Oh my god!
and they just
Bet the
go over to him.
stratosphere at Vegas don't sound so bad now.
It's intense, man. Like if you look it up, like tribe, that bungee jumping tribe, I'm sure it'll come up.
Jesus.
Fuck all that. The fuck. I guess I
what
really
happens
can't
when
say
you don't
anything.
have
Like
TVs,
that's
man.
their culture. Like you
Yeah,
can't.
hundreds of years they've been doing it.
It's just tradition.
Jump.
Nah, some cultures are fucking
Tuesday.
stupid. I'll say it. Like the fucking culture where like in order to be a man, you have to stick your hand in those gloves that are filled
Oh.
with fire ants. Fuck that shit. You're
What the fuck is
stupid.
that?
You haven't seen that?
No.
Fucking
They're
didn't
like these huge oven mitts.
yeah,
Oven
they
mitt
make them
looking
out
things.
of they make them out of
Like straw
like grass and
and- yeah.
and straw, and then they leave little holes in them, and for each one they stuff like one of like the worst ants, like
Just
to bite.
gnarly ants.
Yeah, like some of the worst venom you can get from an ant bite, and they like stuff them in like systematically one by one in the entire oven mitt, and then you stick your hands in it for like hours, and you do this like ritual where you like dance around with these things on your hands, and then you just are left to like writhe around with the pain. Somebody did it. Some Westerner did it. I don't know if it was fucking
died.
Steve-O or whoever, but like
Oh,
somebody
Steve-O
fucking
probably
did
survived.
it. And like they said it's the worst thing you could ever go through.
I bet.
What the fuck?
I mean, it's like you said. Like I don't get it, but it's interesting at the same time.
Oh,
like where'd
hell
that
yeah.
come from?
I love the
Where did it
variety.
start? Like,
yeah,
how-
it probably started like you just had to take like one ant bite, and then the next day I was like, well, I'm more macho than you. I
did
could take
too.
two ant bites, and then there's the fucking psychopath, and he's like, I'm gonna make a glove.
Check this out, guys. Put
Yeah.
this on,
Dude.
Yeah. Or have you seen the other tribe that they'll scar themselves
Yeah.
with to make their skin look like alligator skin?
Yeah, they like I think it's like hooks.
They use
They
a
like take out,
razor.
they take out just like chunks of their skin, and
Yeah.
you know, what's his face in Black Panther, Killmonger, when he took his shirt off and he had all those bumps. It was like a emulation of the tribe that
Yeah.
actually does that to their skin.
So they'll sit in water, like ice cold water, and it's weird because the water they're not in like these baths they make. It's in the ground,
Yeah.
and they'll just sit in there. And they start them at like little kids, like it'll like range. The ages will range, and so they'll sit in that water to numb their body, and then as soon as they pull them out, they're just like
Hacking away at it.
What
with just
the
like a
fuck?
little razor. It's like just cutting them up. It's crazy, dude.
Is it-
Again, super not knocking.
Is that
it,
like a
but
tattoo kind of thing? Like
Kinda.
it just gives you
It's
like,
It's kind of like what I mean. People are branding themselves now.
Yeah, it's like
Good
a.
God.
I don't know if it's like a warrior thing or just like a manhood thing.
I think they believe in how it protects them. Like the more you have, the more protected you are. Because I think they go on a hunt after that.
Yeah, a lot of like manhood rituals usually end with like
Yeah.
a fucking hunt.
We need to bring that back to America. Bring some stuff back, man.
Yeah, we could go chase around little mountain lion cubs.
Yeah,
Jesus
go look for a bear.
I got in my head. I got stuck on there was a football player. I don't remember who the fuck it was, and it's actually like a certain kind of tattoo that you can get, but you get a tattoo on your arm, and underneath the tattoo is like a metal piece that kind of looks like the tattoo. I don't know exactly what it is.
That's where it's like raised.
Yeah.
Off your skin.
Yeah, like bumps out of your skin.
Dude, why? That sounds like really uncomfortable. And I remember the first time I
seem
saw
safe, like something foreign in your.
I think he
your
had
body.
like a horseshoe on his arm. So maybe it might have been
Or
like
was
the
it like the
Cowboys.
Omega sign? Because I've seen a lot of guys, like a lot of
It might have been
athletes
that.
get the Omega sign.
It might have been that. It was one of the
end of your life.
I'm the Alpha and the Omega. You're done.
I was watching the game, and it went in slow-mo, and I remember as he was running, there was just something like jiggling underneath his arm, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And that's when I learned about it. It's like I didn't even know that was a thing. It just sounds so fucking gross and painful. Like your skin has to heal over that to like trap it in there.
Imagine how hot it gets if you're in the sun.
Yeah.
It just conducts
Like
heat.
when you get in your car and you hit yourself with the seatbelt, the buckle, the metal part. You're
Dude,
like,
seriously.
Because like
Damn
even
it.
with tattoos, so when you have the darker the ink, obviously, like just with skin, the darker the color it is, the more heat it holds in, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't think of how to say that any other way. With the black ink on my tattoos, when it's like hot outside, that shit will burn. And if you touch it, it's a different temperature than the normal parts of my skin.
Yeah.
So I can't even imagine what a metal piece underneath your skin would feel. It'd probably feel like it's fucking cooking.
that Nick Rule is so hot right now.
What?
Never seen that? Zoolander?
Oh no.
Sorry, dude. There's a little bit of an age gap.
That's got nothing to do with age, motherfucker.
To some extent,
The
you'll ask me if there are movies I've seen that I literally have never even heard of.
Okay, well, I'm not like a fucking 50-year-old on this show, dude.
Like what's the movie that Tess always watches?
Top Gun.
Top Gun. All the fucking time. All the
great.
time.
Fucking Maverick, dude, and Goose.
I feel like that's what you would do. Is probably once a week it's a Top Gun marathon.
Not Top Gun. Top Gun's dope, but
What's a movie that you always go back to over and over?
Zoolander, bro.
man, it's probably the Batman trilogy.
Okay, I mean that's fair.
That's solid.
That's a
Or
fair
like
one.
I just did The Matrix the other day.
Did
But
you
I don't
actually
like always do that.
Did
but
you actually finish it?
Yeah.
Because there was like the
Yeah,
night
like
2
the
weeks.
following days I'm like, I'm doing it.
Okay. Because I remember you told me you're
Reloaded,
like, we're watching
Revolutions.
all of them tonight, and I was like, well, I'm not, and you're like,
no.
I am. I'm going to start right now, and then
made
it was
it
like
for the
two
Halfway
hours
through
in.
the first part. I didn't do it. No, probably The Dark Knight. I love watching that movie.
That's a fucking
Heath Ledger,
solid
man.
movie.
Like over and over. I remember watching it in the theater and being so creeped out. So you know that sound, that high screeching sound that would come in when he's coming in or when he got done with a scene or
I think so.
so that like this is gonna super nerdy, but it's a cello. And so they were like searching for like the perfect sound to have like associated with him
Yeah.
and his character. And it's like that screeching high pitch, kind of almost low tone noise too. It's a cello. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But dude, that movie's awesome.
Oh, dude, that fucking
Love that
movie is probably one of the. I'd put that movie in like a top 10 for sure.
such a great movie.
That scene where he gets interrogated by Batman. Every time it pops up on Twitter, I watch it. Even to the point where I could probably, if I were to like read the actual like lines of it, I could probably reenact it. Like that fucking scene is so goddamn good.
That's cool.
And
I
then
love it.
whenever he's like, and they'll cast you out like a leper, like that fucking.
You had a week where you like said that shit.
I just
nonstop.
always just like a leper, but god damn, that movie is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Have you heard that Robert Pattinson's supposed to be the new Batman?
I'm fucking stoked.
Yeah.
What?
I'm
I am
actually hyped.
fucking. Have you seen it?
God,
Have you
dude.
seen
Because
him?
you associate Robert
Fucking-
Patterson only with Twilight, don't you?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Why?
And so you can't associate the actor with one role.
No, it's like
It's
Charlie
like getting-
Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy.
Lost
Like
me
in
again, bro.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah, sorry.
It's Sons of Anarchy.
I'm not
the
a-
show that came out just
That show, I know. I was told to watch it over and over again. I've heard
anyway,
nonstop good things.
Like no matter what he's in, you're like, oh, that's Jax Teller. He's Jack Steller.
Right, of course.
Like, he was in like King Arthur, and you're like, nah, King Arthur's Jack Steller.
Daniel Radcliffe is forever
Motorcycle
Harry
Club.
Potter, but to some extent, you have to also take the fact. Okay, Robert Pattinson, obviously
He's
in
a
Twilight,
vampire.
in Twilight, it was bad acting because it was directed wrong.
Yeah.
Like it was just poorly fucking put together. But have you seen him in anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, obviously
He's a vampire.
the Harry Potter movie, where the Goblet of Fire.
So yeah,
That was cool.
In that, he was good.
Remember
I couldn't
Me?
help but thinking he's a vampire wizard.
Have you ever seen Remember Me?
No,
That's about.
he's
I
probably
believe
a
it's about
vampire in
9/11.
that also.
That fucking movie, so
What's that
goddamn
about?
good. I think that's about 9/11, and he is either in the plane or in the building. But spoiler alert, 10 years old. But
Oh, it's 10 years old. Oh, lost me. Fucking out of my range.
but it's fucking great. His acting is fucking great, dude.
No, he's a good actor. I'll give it to him. He's,
I
he's-
guarantee
he plays
you-
a great vampire.
I bet there were people who were pissed off that Johnny Depp got casted for Willy Wonka.
That was horrible, dude.
But his acting,
He was good.
yeah, his acting
good.
is killer. And
Yeah.
so you can't like with someone like if you see Johnny Depp and you only think Jack Sparrow, right? But then you throw that actor into another role and you're like, holy fuck, they're versatile. I think this is what's going to
Jake
happen
Gyllenhaal.
with Robert Pattinson.
Jake Gyllenhaal is a fucking versatile
I
human
think Jake
being.
Gyllenhaal's the
He's
most
so
versatile
good.
actor.
Yeah.
I mix him up with others. Is he the one that's going to be in the new Spider-Man movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
it looks good in that.
You don't say anything about that. I haven't seen
What, the-
Endgame.
Oh no. Okay, cool.
And I
We
know
won't.
if you, because there's a thing like, don't watch the new Spider-Man trailer if you haven't seen Endgame.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
don't.
literally Tom Holland warns you in the beginning.
Yeah.
He's like, "Don't watch this."
That's
if you haven't
literally
seen it."
the video. I was like,
Yeah.
Tom's like, don't watch this. I'm like, all right, no,
Yeah,
no watch
don't.
it.
But yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal's in that. He's in that fucking what's it, Nightcrawler? I think.
Nightcrawler.
So good.
Yeah.
There was a more recent movie he was in where
he was in Demolition. Is it called Demolition Man?
Here,
Or-
let me see. I have the computer. In
But
front of me.
every role he's in, I always forget that it's Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm like, whoa, this is Jake Gyllenhaal playing. He's such an amazing
Dude, he was
actor.
in Southpaw. Like I
Oh,
didn't even
yeah.
get to. I didn't get to
Yeah.
watch it because like I remember wanting to see it. Something happened, but the fucking shit I heard about that movie was just like
Yeah.
people were like it's one of the greatest movies
Yeah.
of that year when it came out. Nightcrawler, well, everybody's favorite, Brokeback Mountain.
That's versatility at its finest, ladies and gents.
Manny's favorite fucking movie, Donnie Darko, which I have yet to see.
I hate that movie.
Okay,
Oof.
I was gonna say it didn't seem like anything I was interested in.
It's just so weird. I'm not knocking anybody who likes it. That's totally fine.
Yeah,
I won't hate on that, but I can't.
Oh, dude, he does a lot of fucking movies. What was the really creepy movie he did recently where he was like not a psychopath, but he like lost his shit and he's like screaming. It's something about art in a museum or something like that.
Fuck yeah.
Oh,
I saw a trailer for that.
wasn't it kind of like an indie movie?
I don't even has it come out yet?
Maybe. It's like
Oh.
an art horror film. Yeah, I remember that.
Alex and I want to go see Brightburn.
That's gonna be
Really
dope.
bad.
The evil
I saw
Superman.
the trailer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dark take on Superman.
I think it's gonna be dope.
Oh my god, I can't.
See,
I
I
was
think
kinda
it's I think
hoping-
it's a do or die movie. I think it's either going to be really good or it's going to suck.
I totally think you're right on that. Where
Because those
you
movies,
walk out and you're like, hell yeah, or God, I hated that.
yeah, those
trailer
movies.
was the best part of the movie.
Seriously, you take such a huge leap for those.
But James Gunn is directing it.
Okay, damn. All right,
And he did Guardians.
Oh,
there's some faith there.
It's gonna be
so
so
there's
fucking
for sure
good.
Star Lord's gonna be
Did
in
you?
it.
So that's another good example. Chris Pratt is an
Yeah.
example of an actor where you don't think Parks and Rec when you see Star Lord, you think Star Lord, and I think that's
Burt
how Robert.
Macklin, FBI.
Oh yeah, I think Burt Macklin.
That's how I think Robert Patterson's going to be. I think you're gonna see. I think you'll see him, and at first you'll be like, okay,
The thing,
vampire.
the
But
reason,
as the movie goes on, I think you'll see him more as Bruce Wayne.
because with Chris Pratt, like, love the guy. Think he's a fantastic fucking dude, and his acting I really like. But the personality that he plays in all the movies, they're all and the shows, like, they're all relatively the same.
Except for, you see Passengers?
No,
with Jennifer Lawrence when they're stuck in space.
Oh wait,
Yes, that was so good.
I just watched that the other week. I'm like, holy shit,
He
dude.
did a
This was
fantastic job of
underrated,
that.
dude.
Yeah.
Not one bit of it is really comedy. I think he's got one kind of like smart remark
oh
or
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
But
Passengers, yeah. No, I think he
he's
did
serious.
fucking-
It's a serious role the
and
whole
that's
time.
that's where like okay, so I take back what I said. Then he can act differently. What
You
I am
better.
saying though, what I am saying
Chris
is
Pratt.
like I said, I think his acting is fantastic. It's just he doesn't play a lot of different roles.
yeah.
Like Parks and Rec and Star Lord. Like what the fuck is his name in Parks and Rec?
Andy Dwyer.
Andy and Star Lord are the same people. Like they really are.
Well, they filmed Guardians of the Galaxy during
Yeah,
Parks
like
and Rec still.
the end of it.
That's
why
when
he started
went
losing weight.
That's when he went to London.
Yeah.
When Andy went to London, and then he came back from London.
Oh,
they
was
were
that
like,
because he was?
"Oh, Andy, you're so ripped out," and look at because he was all thin then, and his hair was like still kind of like that reddish.
Remember when he
like,
started working out and like they would have him run around the track and he'd just like pass out and just lay there in his boxers. I think that was probably them like showing like,
build-up.
okay, yeah, is he has to start working out.
That's smart.
Yeah, that's actually a really good like writing strategy that they did.
Yeah, and I think that actors when given the opportunity can break that mold that's set around them from previous roles. Like the fact that I think one of my favorite examples is the fact that like Harrison Ford is both Han Solo and Indiana Jones, and you don't watch
and the president of the United States,
Oh yeah, what was that?
Air Force One.
Oh yeah, fuck. I never even saw it. I remember a trailer and went, oh okay. But
Get
like
off my plane.
the fact that you can watch Indiana Jones and not be like Han Solo the whole time. You literally
Yeah.
see Indiana.
Yeah.
It shows that like if the movie's done right, you can fucking kill it,
Yeah.
and that's what I hope Robert
That's a good
Pattinson's gonna
point.
have.
You just brought into my horizon.
You, sir, have said Patterson 3 times.
Oh fuck, is it not Robert Pattinson?
Pattinson.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I read it and I just think Patterson.
Uh,
So thank you for correcting me.
Paddington.
Pattinson, yeah.
So with Parks and Rec, Alex keeps pushing me to watch it, and we're like on the second to last season.
Wait, you haven't watched it all the way through?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
refuse to
Why?
because I don't want it to end. I
Same.
love that show.
Same.
I'm like, I'm not watching the last episode. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna end this.
3 days,
I have a great relationship with Parks and Rec.
3 full days after I got done watching it. I felt empty. I literally felt, I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do? There's nothing else to watch. It took 3 days for me to get over it. I just woke up in the morning. I was like, there's nothing to do today.
So an actor I actually can't stand is Jesse Eisenberg,
Really?
who did.
Why? I actually really like his acting.
I can't stand it, dude, because it's the same character, like the
High wit, fast
high
talking.
wit. Yeah, exactly. It just
What was the magician movie he was in?
Now You See Me.
Now You See Me? So good.
So
Those
good.
I
Those
hated him
were-
as Lex Luthor,
oh my god,
but
I think that was the worst
role he had.
call
Yeah.
on to have play Lex Luthor.
I get the whole wanting to break stereotypes thing, but so far in superhero movies, when people have tried to do that, it's flopped, and it's flopped hard.
So why keep doing it?
Exactly. Like when they tried to do Fantastic Four. They did that shit. And they were like, "Oh yeah,
They
let's
like-
make the Human Torch black." Like,
They've tried doing Fantastic Four how many times, and it was a flop every time.
I think they had a
3.
really old movie, and then the one with, Chris Evans,
yeah.
and then now this newest one that was the worst Marvel movie ever made.
Oh, dude, it was.
It like literally ranked below Elektra, and nobody knows about
Elektra.
I don't
Elektra.
even remember
Jennifer
Elektra.
Gardner
I don't even remember that at all. That's
yeah,
a movie.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Daredevil
Yeah, Marvel does a good job of covering
Okay,
up their tracks.
Daredevil was
with Ben Affleck and Colin Farrell.
the year
He was
that
Bullseye.
it came out. I went for my birthday party to go see that, and I remember thinking like, this movie is really cool. And then
I wish I
like,
was born yesterday.
when I got older, I was like, what the fuck is that? When the guy
Dude.
does like a backflip or something across a building and gets shot out of the sky with a rocket launcher and just blows up. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is this?
There's so many rude awakenings when you turn into an adult, and like the movies you cherished as a child, you watch again, you're like, this is awful. This was so cool when I was young, and this shit is garbage.
What was a movie that in like when you were a kid, just like that's what I want to do, that's what I want to be?
Like someone that you like envisioned yourself.
Yeah, you're like I truly like
to be.
I really want to do this. Like when I'm older, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to be that.
Mine was actually really fucking recent. Like really
like
recent.
yesterday?
No, as in like I wasn't a kid. When did the Spider-Man with what's his name come out?
What's his name? Let's pick of 3 actors.
The fucking
Andrew
the middle
Garfield.
guy.
Was
Andrew
it
Garfield.
Toby?
Andrew Garfield.
Tobes?
No, hell no, not Toby. Hell no. Worst
I
Spider-Man.
I have the harsh take of Tobey Maguire was the worst Spider-Man.
He is the worst.
Yeah, he is for sure.
I feel bad for him because I'm like, dude, they screwed him, man.
No, they should never have casted Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. I resented Tobey Maguire as a human being.
I think he's
because
actually
of his Spider-Man
a
role.
really like. Well, I only know him from one other role. From what I remember, is when he played in Great Gatsby. Like I liked his acting in that. I liked his acting in that a lot.
Yeah.
So I think it's just as Spider-Man, it was just trash,
Dude,
and the storyline they
Shouts
did
out
for
to my
it.
girl, Great Gatsby. I love you, boo.
Fucking Tobey Maguire, like Spider-Man's Peter Parker's supposed to be a fucking high school kid with a crush on like the neighborhood girl, not a fucking 36-year-old man living with his aunt who still goes to high school for some reason. Like you can't portray him as a teenager.
Yeah.
He's like this old ass dude, and he's like, hey guys, I'm Peter Parker, and it's like, get off the screen.
Keep
That
in mind,
invitation.
keep in mind, like that was before Marvel movies even knew what the hell they were doing.
But at
dude.
least,
example,
bare
Hulk.
minimum, get someone who isn't looking that old.
Who owned Spider-Man before Marvel? Sony did. Yeah.
That's why.
Okay.
So my opinion is the movie that really changed it all and what was a DC movie was Batman. I think Batman changed the superhero
Oh yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
then on out, when Batman Begins and then The Dark Knight, everyone was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
These could be
those
And that's
were-
the only good thing DC's put out is the. No.
Aquaman was really good. I liked Aquaman.
Really?
Yes, I enjoyed it because I was
God,
comparing it to every previous
Fucking hated
DC
it.
movie. Why'd you hate it?
Because I cannot stand Jason Momoa.
What?
I cannot stand. I think he's overrated. I think his acting is fucking horrible.
See, I personally would not
He's a
have
call,
casted him.
dude. He's called Drago. I just want.
You know, it's Game of Thrones.
But like, I
Is that
would
out
not.
your range?
Yeah,
Dick.
Way too young for that. Sorry.
Way too young for that.
But no, I
It just ended.
see. That's another thing. Again, breaking the comic book stereotype of the original superhero. It's like I wouldn't have casted him for Aquaman, but with what we got, I fucking loved it.
Yeah,
And
that's cool.
that was one of my original beefs. Was like, why, he's not anything like Aquaman. But it was once I accepted it. Okay, this is Aquaman now. I'm gonna roll with it. Then I liked it.
That was kind of like Thor Ragnarok. Like a lot of people have told me, like, yeah, Thor Ragnarok was pretty much Marvel's take on doing like a Hulk in space or whatever that was. But I hated it. I'm like, dude, this is like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like all the wit, all
They
the
definitely
funny.
emulated
Wasn't James
it.
Gunn part of that too, which is why it had that take
Well,
on it?
I guarantee they saw how
Like
much,
Thor being a smart ass and being all witty all of a sudden, like, wait, what?
Well, it was
What are
more.
you?
Well, it's more like there's more development than that because the Avengers movies, like between that,
Well-
added to his wit and shit.
Watch what you say
What?
about the Avengers movies.
No, I'm saying
Okay.
the original one
Leading
in
up
Ultron.
to that, yeah.
Yeah, like leading up to Ragnarok, like they really added to his character and his overall development. Because like you compare, we'll go with like Ultron Thor to first Thor, where he's like smashing a coffee cup on the ground, like another, like totally different.
Blonde
And so,
eyebrows.
yeah, literally. So like watching the entire change over it, like I fucking loved it. So I ate up Ragnarok.
I loved Ragnarok.
I think it was I really liked the movie. I just didn't like how all of a sudden Thor was all witty and
So you think it was like too sudden?
yeah, I think I was like, what? He's kind of like Star-Lord, like because it just had that Guardians of the Galaxy feel. I'm like, oh, he's and then in Infinity War when they're doing their little back and forth bout, I thought that was cool.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, all in all, I'm not hating on it that much. They're great.
How you asked like what movie gave you the feeling of like that's what I want to do when I'm older
Yeah.
was that Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield. When I got done watching it, I was like, I have to go to acting school. Like that's what I want to do. Like I just want to be a fucking actor.
Dude.
I searched for months how to be an actor, and then I just eventually gave up because it was like majority of it was like if you have way too many tattoos, which I do, it was like your chances are way smaller. And I'm like, and I felt I genuinely felt crushed. I was frustrated. I was like, this is so stupid because that was what 7 years ago. So I was like 17. Yeah, 17. So I was like, this is what I can do. Like, I don't know what the fuck. I didn't do photography at the time. So like, I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that just sounded so fucking cool, dude.
And I get like the whole beef people have with the Andrew Garfield line of Spider-Man movies because he's like too cool to be a real Peter Parker. But I loved his
I fucking loved
role.
it.
I was like, fuck you, Toby, this is better. And then Tom Holland came around and I was like, yes, the true Spider-Man.
He really is. He is a perfect fit for it, dude. And he looks like he's 22, 23, I think. Somewhere around there. He's young.
He's in his 20s.
And so
Just had his birthday.
Yeah.
And the only reason I know that is because I was cracking a joke with my buddy whose birthday was
promise I'm not a Tom
on
Holland
June
stan.
1st. Tom Holland.
I'll log out of my Twitter account that I have.
Love you, Tom Holland.
Tommy. I think he just turned 23. So like he still looks like a kid. He is perfectly
23.
acrobatic or aerobatic. What's the word?
Aerodynamic.
No.
Just cuts
acrobatic,
through the
right?
wind.
When like he can do all the bends and the flips and all that shit because like they don't have I know for stunt doubles like they probably have somebody for when he actually gets hit by something, but all the bending and the flipping and all that shit he can do all of that.
Wow.
That's dope.
He did ballet when he was a kid. He still does
He
ballet.
literally was built to be Spider-Man.
No, he was. I've watched so many different interviews and things about him because he just interests me. Like this, how the fuck do you want to?
I thought my obsession was bad.
Well, when he was, because he's technically my age, so I was like really like intrigued by it. I was like, how did you get there? When he was
How
like,
do you look like such a small boy?
because he grew up watching all the movies too. Like how Dylan freaks out about it. Like he would freak out about it.
Well,
He
was born in 96.
He was talking about like, oh, it'd be so cool to work with Robert Downey Jr. one day when he was a kid. And now he is like fucking
The best
partners with him in
friend,
movies. And it's just, it's so fucking
Do you
cool.
have a Tom Holland tattoo?
Yes, I do, actually.
I knew it.
Spider-Man is actually my favorite.
It's on his gooch, though.
Yes.
Ooh.
That's a good place. Should get on there.
That sounds
You
painful.
said good place?
A good place.
All right.
It'll get torn right up.
When you talked about it, totally like isn't related, but it came to mind when you talked about like again what did you aspire to be or whatever. When it came to me as a kid watching TV and stuff, before your parents like clarified truths about the world to you, you just go with whatever your assumption is.
Yeah.
One of my assumptions was if it wasn't a cartoon like SpongeBob, then it was real. And so I thought Jimmy Neutron was fucking real. And I was crushed when my parents had to explain to me that Jimmy Neutron wasn't a person I could go meet. I couldn't pet Goddard. I couldn't like meet Sheen.
Animation was that real
dude,
to you?
It was 3D and that's all I needed. I was like, I'm going to have him build me a machine that doesn't make me go to school. Like that was the plan. And then my mom was like, no, it's just computer generated graphics. It's just a 3D cartoon. Oh no, my world came tumbling down.
You poor child.
Yeah, so now that's something that I totally forget about. Like another assumption that I had that my parents had to get straight was I thought that color was invented. And that the reason that like 1950s movies were black and white was because color hadn't been invented yet.
So people were actually black and white?
That's not bad though. That's a
I
fair
remember
point.
asking my grandma.
That's
I was
a basic like kid assumption.
I came up to my grandma and I was like, "It must have been the greatest experience ever to
Grandma, were
truly
you there when color was invented?
to see what it was like when they invented color. How did they do it?" And she was like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. And so I was like, I was so sure that like,
I wish she would have ran with it.
dude.
No, this little boy. I love him.
So good.
But my grandma actually took advantage of that like naive part of me when I was a kid. Like I remember she told me, I don't remember this, but she told me like we were driving down the street in Leona Valley, and we passed like the elementary school out there, and there was like a horde of seagulls all around like one spot, and apparently someone had like dropped like, you know, bread crumbs or
a loaf of bread.
Yeah, something like that, a whole loaf of bread, and they're all like fucking pecking away at it like crazy. And I look over to my grandma, I'm like, what are they doing? And my grandma with a straight ass face looks at me and goes, they're eating the concrete. And I go, okay. She left it.
I love my grandson.
So I went home and told my mom all about how I watched the seagulls eat the concrete. And then I had to get
Did they get you tested after that?
No.
Oh no.
But like, it could be worse. I remember my English teacher freshman year was telling one of the horror stories about how she had to break it to her 14-year-old student that Santa wasn't real. Because his parents kept up the charade his entire life that Santa was real.
Oh, Jesus.
And not only
I think that's great parenting.
Not only
how dare you?
Did they,
I'm doing it for Amelia. We're doing Elf on the Shelf till she's 20.
If Alex was listening to this right now, she's probably staring at you so fucking hard.
She's down.
Wait, is this
yeah.
a real thing? Okay.
So, well, I want to elaborate on it a little bit.
Just kidding. No.
Am I?
Yes.
Because it wasn't just that, like, you know, you tell them that Santa's real, but then you go to school and the kids are like, you're fucking retarded. Like, Santa's not real. Come on. But the kid was so convinced because he would write letters to Santa. And his mom knew calligraphy. And so she would get like gold ink and she would write like calligraphy letters from Santa back and then put them in the mail and send them to her own address. And he would get like letters from the North Pole that were written in gold calligraphy from Santa up until he was 14. And the teacher had to break it to him because they were doing like literary devices and talking about symbolism and
like,
myths and shit. And they're like, yeah, so just like how, you know, Santa isn't real. The kid raises his hand, smug as shit, and he's like, I don't know if you know this, but Santa actually is real.
He's like, see this?
I have letters from Santa if you don't believe me. So she made him call his mom in class and watched as he's like on the phone, like, oh, I'm gonna fucking tell her, and then starts talking like, oh, the teacher's saying Santa's real. We have to do this paper on it, blah 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 blah. And then you watch his face shift as his mom confesses over the phone to him that she was behind it the whole time, he started bawling his eyes out.
That's
at
so
14 years old in the class in front of everybody.
That's so
ran out of the
fucked
class.
I don't even know if I find that funny. That's so
fucking
fucked
hilarious.
up, dude.
Oh my god!
Like, imagine what you.
That's crazy.
That's like, okay.
That kid, I guess the benefit, one of the positives of that, like his imagination just was like
so vibrant,
just flying. He's probably super creative and super imaginative, but
this is
super
where
underdeveloped.
Like I
underdeveloped. He's like,
this is where, like, yes, I understand that
like
part's
Will
funny,
Ferrell
but
and Elf.
put your
he needs some spare money, so he's pulling out his teeth and put them under his pillow.
Like,
put yourself in that kid's shoes.
Oh,
like,
it's probably embarrassing as fuck.
Man.
Oh, not just embarrassing, but like, okay, this is a complete, like, they're two completely different topics, obviously, but it's the same thing as when Caleb Lewis Henderson, I know I keep doing that, I just know him as Caleb Lewis, when he was told at 20 that his dad's not his fucking dad, it's like, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
Dude, you gotta feel this fucking weight just like crushing you.
It's probably
Did you just compare?
It's probably
No,
not.
okay, yes, I understand. That's what I said.
You just compared a
look,
dude finding out
motherfuckers,
who his real dad
You know
is
what,
and some
honestly-
kid finding out
Look,
Santa's not real.
I said they're two completely
Caleb,
different
babe,
topics.
shout out to you, bro. That is not the same.
I hate both of you so
Nick's like,
goddamn much.
okay, let's be real about it. You know what? To be honest, Caleb has it better. Caleb has it better because Lisa's dad exists.
I hate
I mean,
this.
at least he
doesn't.
wasn't in a classroom
so
in front
much.
of people.
Imagine the fucking crushing feeling though. Like, that's what I'm saying.
No.
It's
And
just
even more embarrassing is like you're smug as fuck, like confident as hell, telling everyone
I'm
in your
mainly
class
going
that
off of
Santa's
the
real.
whole fucking being lied to your entire life and then finding out because your teacher, you're like, oh, I'm about to fucking prove you wrong. That's just fucked up. It's just fucked up.
Oh my god! Can you imagine showing your face in class the next day like a
There's no way.
motherfucker?
Everyone came to school dressed as Santa.
They're wearing
Little
bells and
elves.
shit. Like,
Oh fuck.
Christmas
good.
comes around and that kid is
nowhere.
Like, nowhere to be.
You probably went home, dude.
What's that grumpy ass old man for Christmas?
Scrooge.
Scrooge, yeah, that kid turned into Scrooge.
Scrooge.
Definitely.
Real life now.
That's him.
He's like bah humbug everything.
Yeah, and it's not even a case where like the parents also believed in Santa, so they didn't know any better. No, it was direct manipulation.
Just imagine like being fucking
they were so
lied
scared. They're like so scared to tell him.
I know they just like couldn't. They're like, I'll do it next year.
Shit, dude.
Can we just keep pushing it off?
They're like hinting at different things throughout the year. It's like summer, and they're like, he's talking about Santa, and they're like, yeah, it'd be crazy if he was real. Just dropping little hints, like hopefully he starts to get it.
Or maybe
It's
they like
not
used
real.
it to their advantage. Like anytime like they like he defied them,
yeah.
they would just like,
Oh,
we'll
shit.
tell him. He checks his list. You know he fucking does.
They got like this special phone. Like,
He sees
Santa.
you when you're sleeping.
When do you plan on telling Amelia?
I don't know, man.
When she's 16? Oh.
It's honestly, it's for me, like I get, like, I think that stuff's rad for kids to experience. Like
it
we
literally
went-
adds a whole new world to their little tiny heads. Like
we went to Disneyland for Christmas, not for like Christmas actual day, but during their Christmas theme
season, yeah.
and we went with Austin and Michaela, and that was the first time I had been back to Disneyland in like 15 years or something.
Dude, the first time back after that little break
And
is magic.
I was like a little kid all
Dude,
day. I
magic.
smiled all day, and exactly that. Like I'm not ashamed of it at all. Like I'm like, this is magical, dude. Like
It's
there's a
such a
feeling
good
you
feeling.
get as
Yes.
just like when you're a little kid. Like this is so magical. There's so much like ease to this whole environment.
The crazy thing is like it's changed so much over the years, yet they still manage to keep the nostalgia
Yeah.
within it. Like they still pack the nostalgia in the cracks.
So that's the hard part about that is feeling that when I was fucking 29 years old, and like to a point, I think it's hard nowadays, man. Like kids are just growing up way too fucking fast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well you have
And that's-
smartphones and the internet, and they get access to the real world way earlier than parents want them to.
The exposure level is insane, and it's scary, man. As a parent, at times,
I bet.
you know, like oh my god, dude, the other day, I was in a coffee shop waiting for the oil. I was getting my car, the oil changed, and Jiffy Lube's like, it's gonna be about 2 hours. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you doing to it?
We're looking for spare change.
Put in a fucking flux capacitor? Jesus. So I went to Sagebrush, and it's a small little coffee shop inside, and
Solid
there's
little
this group of 3 girls. They had to have ranged between like fucking 15 and 17, 15 and 18.
High school girls.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't just say high school girls. So
They range between the dates of 1999.
So they're talking, and I'm just sitting there, drinking my coffee, and all of a sudden there's like no one in there, and they're talking pretty loud. And so one of the girls is like, "So are you gonna talk about it?" And I was like, "Oh fuck, what the fuck
Scoots
are
over.
they
Talk about what?
Oh,
Who are
God.
you?
So she's like, "No, like I don't mind talking about it in here. Like we just can't talk about it loud." I'm like, "Oh God, oh God, oh God." And I'm just
Scoots even
thinking like, because I've got a daughter. I'm like, "Oh Jesus, what are they going to talk
You're
about?"
looking into the future right now.
I'm like, "Oh God."
Pulls out spine device, puts on headphones, and just directs it
Little
toward
radar.
So they start this girl who, no joke, she's probably like 16, and she starts talking about all the places her and her boyfriend are having sex. They've had sex in the garage. They've had sex on top of the freaking dog food container, taking the dog out for a walk, going and getting gas at the gas station, at their grandma's house, in the bathroom. So and I'm just like,
Jesus
what
Christ. Bumping
the
fuzz like rabbits.
fuck, dude? And the girls are like, "Oh my God." Ha, ha, ha. And dude, I'm not judging. Like I know there's people that like had sex that earlier or whatever. I'm not judging, but it was just scary hearing teenagers talk like that.
Yeah.
When you have a daughter and you're just like, oh my God, dude, what? You shouldn't be talking about that stuff. Like, you're rushing. Like, you're fucking rushing your life way too quick. Like, there's so much, and I know there's different takes on it.
No, 100%.
But there's so fucking much heart and mind and soul tied into fucking all that. And I'm just thinking like a 16-year-old going through that. And then they got on the topic of not knowing what, if they're, oh, dude, it was something so elementary for like a teenager to talk about. But yet she was like, yeah, but I'm so in love with this guy. I love him.
Oh,
I love him so much. I'm like, you're a fucking fool, little girl.
You're a fucking fool.
You dumb girl.
I wonder at what age and at what point in time will the age get lower for everybody to, like, rather than being shocked by 16-year-olds having sex, you'd be like, oh, okay, it's normal. Mm-hmm. Like, you'd be shocked when it's like, and I know this sounds, nobody wants to talk about this, nobody wants to hear this, but it's going to be like, you're 10? Like, what are you doing at 10?
Well, I don't even think that's that possible.
It's possible because I remember when I was 8, I lived on the street, and this house full of a bunch of kids, and they always had family over and everything. And this is when kids played outside. They're like, yeah, you should come over. Like, our cousin like touches us and touches our little, and she lets us touch her, and I'm like, what? No, I'm okay. And they were fucking my age, dude. Like, and both the girls and the boys were all 8, 9, and 10.
And that's what I'm saying.
That was
is
so
like,
foreign to me. I'm like, no.
Right.
And it wasn't because of like a religion or it just
instinct.
I was like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like,
were they older than you or your age?
My age.
Wow.
Yeah, you said.
Well, I mean, even if it was by a couple of years, like 8 to 10 is a big jump.
Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like eventually that will. I feel honestly that at some point that's going to become a norm.
I think I think 16 will become a norm because like at that point you're a couple of years away from being.
Let me rephrase that. The 16 will become the norm.
Yeah,
is what I meant. I meant more so of like. And then it's going to be like...
And then how far is the edgy line going to be pushed?
I talked about this on one of the other podcasts, but how old were you when you first had sex?
16.
You're 16.
Yeah.
How old were you?
20.
I was 13. So it's like, I look back on that. He just...
Amelia's never leaving the house.
I'm moving to the back of his head.
We're moving to Alaska.
Oh, that's where it's worse. They're 12 out there.
Fucking...
But that's what I'm saying is like,
yeah, but
I look at that.
They're killing bears.
I will fucking lose my shit if my nieces and nephews, sorry, there's multiple of all of them now. If they start having sex at that age, I'm like, don't. Because I remember even when I was having sex at 13, like thinking, this isn't, what am I doing? Like I get done and I'd be at home like freaking the fuck out. Like why do I want to do this? Like this doesn't feel normal.
It's so trippy that like you went through puberty with the urges to have sex and got sex right like at that age where you're starting the urges.
Yeah.
Because like for the majority of the male population, you start those urges and then get to become accustomed to the urges and then get to like build your like fantasies off the urges and then have sex.
Right.
But you were just like, I want to do this. Oh shit, I'm doing it.
Well, so we had also talked about porn and all of that on a different one.
Multiple.
Do you remember how old you were when you watched porn?
Yeah, I was probably like 13, 14.
How old were you?
God, younger than that because I was in middle school.
Yeah.
I remember it was Skin-to-Max.
Skin-to-Max.
Well, it was Cinemax, but you know,
oh my
like
God,
that's what it was called?
Late at night, you would call it like Skin-to-Max because it was nothing but like
what the fuck?
The porns would come on after midnight.
On
porns, yeah. What the fuck?
On TV.
The porns.
I'm calling it.
Are you watching the porns?
Are you watching them porns again?
You only call it that from when you're in middle school, and that's it. Once you get in high school, it's just porn. But when you're in middle school, you're watching the porns.
Are you watching the porns on the internet?
It was always like you'd spend the night at a friend's house, and they'd have those channels, and
See you again.
Someone
Out
would
of my
always be
age
the
range?
lookout at the stairs, waiting for the parents if
See-
they were gonna come down. Change channel.
I remember.
Now it's like fucking-
Easily on your phone.
I think it was it was in middle school when I first saw it, and oh my god, I was fucking terrified because someone was like, go home and look up just like gat5.com or whatever it was. It wasn't anything like XXX. It wasn't anything like super sexy or sexual. It was just
obvious,
like three random letters and then a number and .com. And they were like, and they didn't tell me anything about it. Just go look at it. And I was like, okay. Went home, looked at it. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I was so appalled.
What is that?
And how old were you again?
I was in middle school. I might have been in elementary school. It might have been towards the end of elementary
I
school.
was going to say, I was somewhere around like 9 or 10 when I first started
it was at the
watching porn.
end of
I mean, you're like
elementary
9
school.
to 12 middle school,
Yeah.
and
No.
then 13.
9 to... Are you really 9 when you go into 6?
No.
You're 13 in 8th grade, 14
Yeah.
in freshman, 15, 16, graduate at 17 if you're
Yeah.
young. So you're 10 to 13 in middle
Yeah,
school.
because I graduated 17.
Yeah, somewhere. I think I recall watching porn in elementary school.
I think
horns?
when I first saw it, it was towards the end of elementary school, and that was like, that's fucking gross. I don't know, like something in my body is screaming no, and so
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. And then like I remember kindling the like interest in it, but I cared not for the penis. And so like my entire like porn experience as a kid, like being introduced to it online, and God, I hope my parents don't fucking listen to this episode. But I just stuck to girl on girl shit. I was like, if you watch anything with a dick, you're gay, and I am not gay. Therefore, I will not watch.
I'm pretty sure, I want to say that's a universal thought.
Dude,
At least that's what I remember.
I remember getting so pissed. Like I'd be trying to like quench the thirst for like whatever the fuck I'm trying to say,
like,
feed off the cravings or whatever.
Do the do.
but like I'd get so pissed off. I'd be like, why does every one of these have a fucking dick in it?
You're like scrolling through, you're like, fuck. And then you
Literally.
see just 2 chicks, you're like, yes.
Yeah, and then even worse, you'd like scroll past and it'd be like 2 dudes on it, and you're like, I'm never going on the home screen again.
Yeah, dude. But the whole growing up fast, it's like, at least for me, like I grew up fast. I think that had to do everything
Definitely.
with like my child. Dude,
Yeah, so did I.
I remember when I was living on the east side as a kid. We had groups of friends.
Where on the east side do you live?
17th East and I.
Oh, it was definitely elementary school.
I lived
I
in
lived
the
on
hood.
20th East and J.
Oh yeah, you were close. You lived near the Walmart.
We lived before Walmart was there.
It was before
Oh, yeah.
I lived off 30th
behind
and K.
Stater Brothers.
Yeah, dude.
We'd walk there all the time, get 10-cent candies, dude.
30th and K wasn't
dip.
the worst.
No, it wasn't. It started turning bad, and then we left.
Yeah, like I lived in the hood. Like drug dealers were our next door neighbors, and fucking
Yeah, they
gang
moved
members
from where
everywhere.
you were to where I was.
It was just like they just expanded. But what I mean by like growing up fast is I remember the kids that we used to hang out with in that block. There were kids that we would all like go behind trash cans, literally at their houses, like hiding from our older brothers and our parents and whatnot, and just rolling up pieces of paper, random pieces of paper, and smoking it. Like, what the fuck was I doing?
I came home with bubblegum cigarettes once when
Uh-huh.
I was like 6 from the ice cream man. Oh my God. My mom flipped the fuck out.
Oh, I bet, dude.
What are those? What?
Smokes, bitch. I'm going to my room.
Mind your business.
Oh shit.
Dude, she flipped.
When you're like scared for like your daughter growing up in like the world and everything, one of the biggest things, like if not the biggest thing, is who they associate themselves with.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to read a middle schooler just from how they act in front of someone's friend's parent. Because like I had friends that I hung out with that will remain unnamed that hung around my house all the time, like were good friends of mine. And like don't hold anything against them, but if my parents found out about this event that I'm going to describe, would have been fucking irate. And basically, like, we were hanging out at their house, and they were like, "Oh, like, you know, have you ever like jacked off to porn before?" And I was like, and even if at the time, if I had or not, I was like, nope, not my thing.
No.
And they were like, "Dude, it's so crazy. You have to watch this shit." And they fucking pulled it up on their laptop in their room, in my friend's room, but it was like 3 of us.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Look at this dude, his fucking cock is humongous." And I'm like, and then they hand me a PSP and they were like, "Go in the bathroom and jack off." And I was like, "No." And they were like, "Go do it." And I was like, "No, I don't want to. I don't want to do this."
Friends that told me to jack off. Hey, man, go jack off. What the fuck? No, we're not friends anymore. You don't get to tell me that.
They were like, "Go do it, pussy. Come on. I do this shit all the time." I'm like, "With your friends?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "I'm not fucking doing it." Right? Like, I think a year passes, and then another friend was added to the group, and he was put in the same exact peer pressure situation, but he caved, and they kicked his door in while he was jacking off.
Jesus Christ.
And they were like, and they went to school the next day, and like, look, he's got a tiny penis, and he jacks off when his friends are around, and all this shit.
God,
and it was like, thank fucking God, I did not do that shit. And that is around people who, like, other than those situations where like sex was brought up and, you know, middle schoolers turned into fucking little troll demons. Other than that, like, totally great friends, bunch of great adventures, ton of good times with them. Like, loved it. And it's just when those adult topics come into play with people, like little kids who aren't adults, the shit can turn sour so fast. And you have to wonder, like you can't like fucking like NSA spy on your kids 24/7. So you just have to like throw them out there and hope for the best.
I think the pivotal point of just all their experience is how you respond.
Definitely. That's a great answer.
It's like, it's
you have to show that you're a parent that's willing to hear them out when it happens rather than punish them. Like,
this is a super weird example. But that show, 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah.
So I was, Alex had watched it, and I started watching it when it first come out with her. And it was sad when the parents were always like, that wasn't my girl. That wasn't who she was. It wasn't her. But in all actuality, like, she was going and doing these things. Like, not saying like any, whatever, I'm not even going to hit on the story of all that, but just the point of parents thinking that their kids are this certain person, and they're not, when they, depending on what groups of people they get around. Mm-hmm. It really is. It's like, you could think you know how you're going to handle it when you're not a parent. Mm-hmm. And then when you are a parent, you start thinking about it, and it really, it's scary. But then, at the same time, it's exciting because you think about maybe some of the things you encountered with like your parents and how they responded to a situation or that they found out about, or just even your friends who had shit relationships with their parents or had great relationships with their parents.
You like take notes?
Yeah, it's like, it's just all in that kind of like the are you gonna have open arms?
Exactly.
You know, like
if you're a kid and you feel like you can't go to your parents with problems that you know they see as taboo, you will hide that from them till their grave.
Yeah, and there's definitely a balance. Like, there's a balance between, you always have open arms, but I think there's some parents who have just open arms and they're just kind of like, yeah, whatever, like, I did it, so what am I going to say to my kids? Like, like I get like what you're saying, like I get it, but at the same time, like, help them. Yeah. Like, it's not 100% of who you are is you're not proud of 100% of who you are. Like, I know there's that whole thing of like, man, no regrets, where I'm at is where I'm at, and what I did is what I did. And if you believe that, that's totally fine. For me,
That's only because you can't change it. That's why people say that.
yeah, for me, I would, if I had the opportunity to go back and change things about my story and what happened and the choices I made and who I affected, fuck yeah, I would, dude.
Really?
Because there's so much hurt.
Yeah.
Not for that I experienced, but that other people experienced because of me.
Yeah.
I would totally change that.
Yeah,
Right.
people
There's
always
so many relationships I tainted because of a choice I made.
Yeah.
So many opportunities maybe they missed out on or I missed out on, like both the selfless and selfish side of it, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, people always think about like, oh, if you could go back and change this, would you? And the event they talk about is always something that hurt themselves, but they never really like touch the spot of like, would you go back and change the things that you did to others?
yeah, I totally would. Like, and there's like, I've got a bad habit for a long time. I had a really bad habit of like just people pleasing, like make happy whoever it is. Like I want them to like me. I changed so much about myself. And it was only just like Alex has helped me tremendously with it. She's absolutely amazing. To just not do that, to not people please, to be who you are, and just if people aren't gonna like you, or if they're just you can't answer the expectations of everyone.
Right.
You just shouldn't, and you can't. That's an obvious thing, like a Captain Obvious, like go duh. But
yeah, you have to kind of be able to judge their character and go, is this person worth pleasing?
yeah, and it's yeah, I'd totally go back. I would totally go back and change things. Like there's some horrible things I've done.
I mean, I know a few things, but are there things that you would want to mention or talk about?
Yeah, like obviously I won't name names and get into too much detail about it, but I did like I had an affair with like a married woman. When, and this is who I like lost my virginity to.
Whoa.
And it sucked, dude, because I was super close with their family.
Oh,
Super close with their kids, super close with them as
Were you friends
individuals.
like with their kids first, or
No, the kids were younger to me.
Oh, okay.
Younger than me. So they actually looked up to me as like kind of like older brother.
oh shit?
They would call me like their older brother.
Was the woman like a decent age difference from you?
I think she was like 12 years.
Holy
14,
shit.
something like that. I no more than that. I don't
But
think.
like, that's fucking crazy.
yeah, like so I was 20 and I think she was probably like
like early 30s.
early 30s.
Damn.
So
Damn. Were you friends with the groom or the husband? Like, were you like close
Yeah.
with him?
dude, they took me on trips.
Fuck.
Like they took me on like paid trips.
Oh shit.
And so they were going through their shit, and I had just learned about myself and how I'm really good at talking. Like I'm really good at listening to people, was really good at saying the right thing.
Just like a charm.
Yeah, I was like really good at with my charm. And just kind of letting people come in and feel safe.
Yeah. So you were like a shoulder to cry on.
Yeah. So we were all so close, and, it was emotional at first, and, she would talk to me, and then it got to, one thing leads to another, where it was like emotions. And then, the little late texting and the like, funny little flirtatious.
It gets intertwined with sexual
funny
stuff.
little flirtatious like sexting, and then it just got physical, and then went from there, man. And
was it like a couple instances, or was it like a consistent thing?
no, it was a couple instances. It wasn't like one after the other, over and over.
So it was a short span when it came to getting physical.
Yeah, it was a short span. It was weird. Like
After
when
the first time, Like what?
Yeah. So that's what,
Okay. Go
so when it had happened, when I had done the deed, man, it was weird. I instantly had this vision that like I had, like, it was a vision of like my hands holding just jewels, like rare jewels. And I just fucking threw them in the mud. Like I just did this and I went and threw them in the mud.
That was like the symbolism of
what like I just
like
done.
the family, the relationships that you had, the people that you had in all of it, just like
no more actually. It's actually really cool. Like thinking of it that way. I've never thought of it like that. And that's really cool. Thinking of it like that now, but it was more so like myself and like all of the great things I had to give to whoever my wife was going to be. And I just like fucking threw it in the mud. And at the time, like I was raised in church, you know, I was raised in like Christianity, like my whole life. Yeah. And so a lot of that was intertwined with like, oh, you gave up, you know, you're supposed to give it to like your one true, you know? So there was a lot of that intertwined, but I'm so far away from so much like religious dogma that I've learned my whole life and have learned to deal with that. And aside from that, that's still like, if you were asked like, well, do you still have that vision and like totally agree with that? Or was that all like a religion and like to the moment in your life at that time? It's like, no, I'd still, because if I could change it and if I was able to just give that to like Alex, oh, dude, that'd be fucking awesome.
Right.
And that's aside from religion, like nothing to do with Christianity, nothing to do with like, oh, it's only meant for that one true person. And I've even come across people who aren't religious and they're like, yeah, I believe that. Like, I believe like, I want to save myself for like the one.
Yeah.
And if I could have given that to Alex, oh my God, dude, I would totally like if a genie was like, here's 3 wishes, one, take me back, dude. Take me back. I'm going to zip up my pants.
So I guess the burning question for me, I don't know if you know this story already or not.
I know a little bit.
So did the family find out?
Yeah.
I figured that's where a lot of the remorse comes from.
Yeah. So I don't know in depth to how much family found out. The immediate, obviously the husband found out. And he like came to me and he said like, man, like I trusted you, like you were family. You were like my little brother, you know, and you were family, and for you to do this, you know, absolutely horrible. Like, and I had actually called him to apologize, and
because you knew he knew.
I don't know if he knew, but I just wanted to do it. I was like, I have to do this.
So you were the one that told him?
Yeah.
Fuck.
But I don't know if he had already known.
But you didn't care.
Yeah, I was just like, whether he knows or not, I'm gonna.
Did you tell the woman that you were gonna come clean? Like, did you tell her like it was eating away at you and like,
or was it just a decision on your own?
I think I did. I think like, hey, like this. I think he had known. Because we had a conversation saying like, hey, this has to end. Like, it's out. You know.
Was it just one instance or how many times?
We probably hooked up like a handful of times.
And did the guilt set in right away and like your lust kind of overpowered it, or did the guilt like creep in?
No, the guilt was instantaneous.
Really?
It was like, what the fuck?
As soon as this just post nut clarity, you're just fucking.
Yeah, totally. Just like, fuck.
Yeah.
The instantaneous rush is over. And now
you have the consequences.
Here is what life really is.
Yeah.
And so, this is gnarly to talk about. And so, yeah, it was just, it's horrible, man. Like they were going through a lot of stuff, and I don't know if like I was the tipping point, you know, or if their marriage was done already, which none of that even matters. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
There's not like, well, man, you know, they were fucked already. And so, I mean, it's not that bad.
You know your mistakes.
It's owning up. Be like, no, dude, like, no matter if they were 99% divorced and like at the point of like, no, fuck him, fuck her. Like, I want nothing to do with it. Doesn't matter. It was wrong.
Yeah.
you know, and so it just, I had called and I told him, like, I actually said to him, like, hey, like, oh, whatever you want to do, like, I welcome it, you know, this is what I've done and I'm sorry. Like, whether you want to come and beat the shit out of me or whatever it is, like, you're valid. You're totally allowed. Not that he needed my fucking permission, you know, but,
and nothing, did anything come of that after, like,
did he like physically confront you?
No, I never saw him. It
after
was
that
kind
phone
of,
call?
yeah.
Oh, no shit.
I've seen him 2-3 times since that time.
Yeah.
God, it's been 12, 13 years.
Are they divorced officially?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think they've had like each like a marriage or two after that.
Oh shit.
Oh wow, so it's old history.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I've seen her before. And it was like, obviously, like, I don't want anything to do with you on both ends.
Yeah.
Like, no, like, there's no, and I never, I'm like, that's over. That's done. Like, I don't ever, but it was breaking the trust of like other, and just after that was just kind of like just a chain of kind of doing that for many years.
Dude, the feelings, I couldn't even imagine what that feeling's got to be like. Like, that's just, and to even talk about it now, like you said, like it's difficult. Like,
it is. It's really hard. Like, it's something that I'm like, hey man, like I've done it. And it's not to downplay it by any means.
No.
Like, but, the band Stick to Your Guns, like they've got a song, called You Are Free. And then also, a song that talks about like, sometimes you have to go back to make sure you don't do it again, you know, to remember like what it costs, the weight, everything.
To like keep yourself in check.
Yeah. And not like it's like a temptation of like, oh man, I just want, but to shape just a good life.
Yeah.
Like this was the shit you were a piece of shit. What entailed with that piece of shit? Like, what was it? You know, what were all the characteristics of who you were in that time?
Yeah.
And stay away from those. You know, it's kind of like with a garden, like if you pull out a weed, you pull out a bunch of weeds, you gotta fill it in. Like, you can't just leave that hole or the weed's just gonna come right back, you know? And so it's that same thing like with your life. Like, if you're gonna pull something out, you have to replace it with what's good, what's true, what's beneficial.
Actually, I like that a lot.
You know, you can't just leave
Gaping
it
holes.
to just be void.
Yeah.
You have to fill it in with something that either filled in like with something concrete where nothing's ever going to sprout there again.
Yeah.
And, or you know, plant something great, you know, but, yeah. So just in regards to like going back, like I would totally go back to that. And
on your point of like looking back, there's I learned this in one of the classes I took in college. It's an African belief or a symbol that they use. And from what I remember and what I picked up on it when they were teaching us it's a swan that looks over its back and like knows its past. And basically it's like keeping in mind, like, I know who I was. I know like where I'm from, always remembering who I was and learning from that person.
yeah.
And like that kind of ties into the same thing with what you were saying is you have to know your mistakes and you have to like grow from them, and like how you're talking about them now, like obviously 12 years ago you wouldn't be talking about this like right now. Like, you've grown from it.
Yeah.
You've gotten not past it, but you've, like I just keep saying, like you're growing from that moment and you know that it was a mistake and you can own up to it and you know it's not right, and that's literally all you can do with that information.
Yeah.
That's like the catch-22 of talking about regret.
And changing your past.
Is like you've gone through a bunch of shit and it was awful, but at the same time, you've gained wisdom from it. It's shaped who you are. You've gained vitality and resilience from it. And so if you go back and you stop that from happening, not talking about your instance specifically, but any type of detriment that people go through, if you go back and prevent it from happening, how much of those positive qualities that you pulled out of that do you lose along with it?
That's where his whole point
No, that's why I'm kind of excluding his point.
Yeah, and his point actually argues it perfectly.
Yeah, it's
of like not doing it for himself, doing it for the other people, and knowing that caused pain for those he wants to remove. Not where he is now. Like if it changed, I don't know if it changed where you are now, in order for it to better those people at that time. Like that's what you're saying is you would have
like. At that time, I didn't value marriage.
Right.
So I learned that, people's marriages are sacred, man, and that you should do, like, there's like a few, I've seen like a few of my friends do like these like marriage ceremonies and rituals where their friends will gather around them when they've gotten married, like either post ceremony and they'll have these crazy rituals of commitment to protect their marriage. I've even seen one where a guy's like, it was super manly, where these guys like took up, they all got swords crafted for each other. And
that is badass.
And they like use their swords and like express to like their buddy who's getting married, like, hey, we will protect your marriage, like with everything we have, like we'll take up arms and whatever we got to do. And so
don't want to get in between that.
So there's just like things like that where, like I totally understand what you're saying with, would you have the wisdom now? I don't know if I would.
Yeah.
But so much of my life has been learning the hard way.
Yeah.
And so much of that's like, oh yeah, like I've learned the hard way. And with some things, it's not a big deal, but with things like that, like, I would have much rather have just realized like, hey, a marriage is sacred.
Just remove yourself from the situation.
Take yourself out of that. Like, you don't have to fucking explore every little thing in order to learn. You don't. Like, you don't have to put yourself in
harm's way.
In harm's way or in a situation, just be like, well, I don't know about this, so I need to learn. It's like, how else are you going to learn? And just kind of throw caution to the wind and like, hey, whatever happens. And I think that's passive. I think that's a coward's way out. I think that's the easy way to go about it. And just like, oh, I'm going to dive in and just whatever
face
happens
once it's too late. Yeah, like rather than knowing better, you just go, I don't know better. And then
jump first, ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah.
I was going to ask a question, but I don't know. Like, it's one of those situations where it's a really fucked up question. So I hope it's not upsetting by any means, but it's one of those things where it's like, if you had the chance to go back, knowing that very well where you're at now with like your mindset, with Alex, with Amelia, where you guys live, all of that, knowing that you could come back to this point and it may not be like that at all, would you change that?
So where you're saying like, I wouldn't have met Alex, wouldn't have Amelia, wouldn't all of that? Is that what you're saying?
I was thinking of the same exact question, and I was sitting here debating asking it.
Because it's a really fucked up question, because
the butterfly effect of the past. If you go back and change the past, it changes the present. And if you come back and you no longer have what you have.
Yeah.
And it's a shitty question, and it's a question that I feel like everybody should ask themselves, because it's like, yes, just admit to your mistakes and own up to them, because there is nothing that you can do.
Yeah.
And just grow from that. The basic, well, I consider them basics, but the basics from learning from mistakes. Keep that all with you, be a better person and grow. But if you had the chance, knowing very well that it could affect your present.
The risk of not having those
none of that. Yeah. The risk of it either being better, worse, the same, whatever the case. Would you do that?
For the better? I mean, if it was better.
Well, no. The thing is
you don't know.
It's a question mark.
So it's the thing that first jumps in my head personally I'm not going to say like, oh, we all will, but for me, I would hope with everything I have, like I would get them, you know, but I don't know. This just jumped in my head and I don't even know if I even agree with this. It's just something that just popped in where it's like, I would hope that they would both like those lives, like obviously Alex would find such an amazing person to treat her so well,
right?
The way she deserves to be treated, and that Amelia, you know, would get to live a life, you know, if it wasn't, but that they would still be able to exist,
of course,
you know, and whether it was with me or with someone that loved them
just as much as you do,
just as much as I do,
right.
Fuck.
and more. Like, is it hard? I don't know, man. Like,
right, and that's why I said I don't.
It's probably one of the hardest questions you'll ever be asked.
Yeah, like I have no idea.
It's one of those things where it's like,
because they're the greatest thing that's ever happened to me.
And do you
they're the fucking great. Like, I will lose everything and keep them.
Yeah, he's basically asking, like, would you sacrifice someone else's marriage for your own?
Yeah, it's.
And the thing is like,
it's the ultimate challenge of self, dude. Like, yeah, what is your heart really?
Yeah,
like,
because if you say that you would sacrifice the past marriage that you were intertwined with for your current marriage, right? That would be considered selfish because you're doing it for your own marriage. But then at the same time, if you sacrifice your own marriage for the past to mend that, then is that considered selfless still, because then it's affecting Alex without her like freedom of choice in it.
And here's the thing is, like, with Ryan and Alex, if you know them like I know them, they talk about each other. There are very rarely times where you run into couples like them. Like, the amount of love that's shared there, the amount of just the way they talk about each other, the compliments, the way they build each other up. Like, they will joke anytime I come around and they'll just talk shit to each other, but it's all love. It's literally down to its very core. It's love. So it's like, it's asking somebody who that is literally their world. There's nothing. Yeah. He works his fucking ass off so that they can live where they're at, so that he can provide for his family, so that Alex can get to the dreams that she wants to get to. So Amelia has a place, all of that. He does all of that for his family. And to ask a man, would you sacrifice that
for someone else,
for a mistake that led you to where you are now?
Yeah, over a marriage.
It's honestly, it's one of those things where it's just
I think it's something you can't even answer.
No, you can't.
And it's over a marriage you don't even know.
Yeah.
And the thing is you have your answer.
Yeah.
It's there.
It's happened.
It's already happened. So it's like,
and it gets back to the whole thing of like, you just got to be right here, right now. Like, what's done is done. And what's done is done with respect,
of course,
and honor to that statement, because there's a lifestyle that happens nowadays where people are like, oh, what's done is done. Fuck it. Like, I'm going to do whatever I want.
No.
You know,
I think,
and there's no honor. There's no respect to just life and to just morals.
Well,
correct.
To speak on that, whenever I hear people say that shit, they always say it with this facade of being like tougher
than
or
they are.
empathetic,
or
they come off like they don't actually care what happened, or like, you know, whatever, it's the past. So that's where, like, we just leave it. I noticed that a lot of people, the majority of people who say stuff like that, usually say it because they don't want to face their own actions.
They're hurting so bad.
They don't want to face the ripple effect that they created. They don't want to face the consequences that they've made. They don't want to lie in the bed. And so they say, like, you know, the past is the past. Fuck it. I don't care what happened. They say that because to turn around and look yourself in the eyes and face your own doing is way harder than being apathetic and just tossing everything behind your shoulder and moving on without looking back.
Yeah, letting everything literally roll off their back.
So when I see those people, I don't see it as like they genuinely mean what they say. I always see it as like, oh, you don't know how to cope.
Yeah.
You don't know how to do it.
That's
so
good.
you take any avoidance.
It's people that aren't in tune with their emotions, and those people, like, they'll get there one day, hopefully.
Yeah,
but
hopefully.
It's kind of mirror that that little clip of Killer Mike with Killer Mike and Joe Rogan that I showed you about when he talks about the divinity within ourselves.
Right.
It's kind of like that same thing where he brought up, they were talking about religion and why like mankind is so like honed in on having like a religion spiritual. And something spiritual. And like, so with Christianity, there's Jesus and, you know, there's Allah and there's Buddha and so many other ones. And he brought up kind of like a good point of like why people are just, they need that divine like person. And he kind of brought up like a really cool way to think about it. He was talking about how people look to those like saviors and look to those iconic individuals and idols as a way for them. Like that's who I look to show me where to go and show me how to live,
for their guidance.
And he thinks that people are just too scared of themselves and too scared of the divinity within themselves, that they will find the answer within themselves, but they're scared to look in the mirror and ask hard questions, to look in the mirror and see the fucked up person at times, or to see like, or to see even the positive, like, hey, you're better than what you think you are.
Yeah. That
like you're so much more powerful. You're so much more confident or stronger or smarter or self-reliant, or if you have to look at it negative, like me, like so much of my life was sugar coated for so long. And I think that's a huge, there's a
like
part
disadvantage.
of it, like there's a part of it that is up to you and you make your own decisions. But I think when you're put in environments that kind of exercise that, don't really hit to the core and just say what it is and say how ugly it is.
Yeah.
And say like, hey, this is the shit. Let's not sugarcoat it. Let's not beat around the bush. This is what it is.
Yeah.
Like I could have, with that situation, with that marriage, like I could have been like, yeah, well, but I was feeling it, and they could have been like, yeah, well, maybe it was this, and you know, it's okay.
Maybe
like,
it's like God's plan.
Maybe,
you know, a step along the road.
It's like, no, dude, like you were fucked up. You were a piece of shit, and you didn't own up to it, and you should have stayed away from that. And so much of the environment I was raised in, like not my parents, but more so the church, like the Western Christianity, like was just sugarcoating and candy coating and just kind of like repenting and moving on. Like I'll just like ask for forgiveness, repent and move on. It's like I understand like an essence to that,
because it's at the same time like
it's what's
healing.
Yeah, it's like do that. Like
it's therapy.
Yeah,
it's
like
recovering.
One of the greatest. I love the story. Outside of Christianity, I don't know why I feel like I have to keep making that disclaimer.
Well, real quick, the point I want to touch before you do the story is that like that's one of the crutches that Christianity and a lot of like Western Abrahamic religions use, is the idea that like humans are made like flawed. We're born sinners, and so like when we do things like that, it's usually seen as, well, you're forgiven because it's in your design. And so like that's just like how you were made. You knew that you were going to sin when you were born. You were already guilty of the sins you hadn't even committed yet and all that stuff. So this is why you need God to cleanse you of your actions.
Exactly.
And then to move on.
Yeah.
When you take that out and you look at it from a more like secular point of view, you are left only with your actions. You are left purely with the consequences of what you've done, and you cannot give yourself the excuse of like, well, I was just, you know, a born sinner. I'm just unclean from the start. It's like, no, you're a human being with the, you know, option to choose how these situations play out, and you made the bad choice. Don't let it happen again. And it hits harder, it hits deeper, and it changes you more, I would argue.
Like the story with like the, hey, repent, move on, like live a different life. Like the woman who was found like sleeping around, and like it's a story in the Bible, and I think her name's Mary Magdalene, but she was just sleeping around, and the leaders, all the elders, found her like in bed with the man, like mid getting it on.
Oh yeah.
Yanked her out of the bed, brought her out in public, and was like, look at this slut.
Yeah.
Look at this whore. She's committing all these crimes. She's breaking the law, all the things that we believe in, all the things that like God has said is wrong. And what we're supposed to do is stone her. And this is her payment. Like this is the results of her sin. This is what she's reaping what she's sowed.
Yeah.
And so, and then Jesus comes in and is like, whoa, like,
Preach
go ahead,
forgiveness.
like who's without sin? Like, go ahead, throw the stone.
Yeah,
Any
cast
of
the
you
first
who are perfect, throw it. And like no one throws shit. Everyone just drops it and just walks away. And
he who is without sin cast the first stone.
Yeah. And so, and so like they all leave, they all dip, I'm sure with their little smug attitudes and whatever.
Yeah.
But he goes to her and is like, hey, like no one's here to like hurt you. No one's here to like curse at you and crucify you and shame you. And so go live your life, like go live a life. And he's like telling her like, hey, you don't have to live like this. Like there's so much more to how you're living. And you still go find it. Go find like this good, healthy, forward progress life. And I just think, that story is amazing. And I think
that's the right way of going about it.
I think Alex hit on it in her podcast where it's all in how we handle people in their hurts and in their moments, like, and even to what we were saying, like the open arms, like how are you going to welcome people in when they've done what they've done?
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the,
and how are you going to then send them out? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like say I love you as who you are, and then they open up to who they actually are, and then you go, oh, I don't love that.
Yeah. So it's like as humans, it's fucking hard, but I think that's just kind of like I hated what I did, but I can't live there. I learned what I did. I've asked for forgiveness from them personally, and then and that's just because that's what I believe was the right thing to do. And then you just gotta learn and move on and do positive from there on out. And there's fucking hiccups all throughout, but I think it's all in what, like, your intent, like what's your first response in those moments?
Yeah.
Like, is it to just kind of dwell in it and just like whatever, or learn from it and take good from it and
don't act like it didn't happen, but
don't act like it didn't happen. Use it in positive and
the people that want other people to live in their mistakes and live in their downfalls and that kind of stuff. It's just like, why? Like,
it's the entire atmosphere of current social media.
Well, I know, and I'm not just talking about people in general, but like,
it's been happening for even before social media. That was
it's just like, you do no wrong. I'm great. I do nothing wrong. At least what you guys know, but you're doing wait, did I say you do no wrong?
Yeah. Sorry.
The person that's being casted or having the stones thrown at them, it's like, you do everything wrong. Like, what you did is wrong. I'm better than you because I do not do these same things.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah.
But I do. It's just, you don't know anything about them.
I didn't sleep around like she did. I wasn't doing what she does.
And the other thing is,
what
like,
they do
with the information, and this is one of the things that, like, I've been really thinking about. I brought it up on, I think, a couple different podcasts and to multiple people, is the information that you just told us. Like, I've known for a little bit longer than Tub has, but he just learned it.
I've known for
so in those minutes that you're explaining it to him, he knows that kind of information. It's 30 seconds new to him. It's 12 years old to you. So it's like it hits harder to people hearing it, but what they have to recognize is is not just hearing the story and going, oh, fuck that guy. It's hearing the story and realizing, okay, where has he come from that? 12 years later, is he still that same piece of shit, or has he grown into a different person?
Yeah.
That is where you have to judge the person is presently on who they are from the mistakes that they've made.
And it's hard because like I don't know, like there could be people listening to this and be like, yeah, well, I still think it is, and there's just people who are gonna have their opinions, and you gotta be okay with it. Like if that people of that family will forever have those feelings of like disdain or hate or just I can't fucking stand that guy.
Yeah, just bitter.
Then hey, that's fine. Like that's their choice.
Right.
I'm not gonna judge them for that. I'm not gonna get in an argument with them about that. It's gonna be one of those things where it's okay. Like it's fine. And there's if I could go back in this last, just with all the heavy stuff I've done of hurting people, I totally would. And that sounds like a sucker thing of like, oh my God, what a chump. Like
can't handle this shit. So
just deal with it, dude.
Yeah,
fucking move on. It's
well,
like,
you already have.
I have.
And even though you've dealt with it and you've, came out in one piece and grown from it, you still would want to do right to others.
Yeah. Whether it was them or people from a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, like I wish I could take back the hurt that I did, to Alex. Like Alex told me so many times, like, hey man, like she talked about our relationship and the crazy road we were on, and there's still times where I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry. Like we'll be watching a movie and like there'll be like someone's cheating in the movie or something, and
you just get uncomfortable.
I'm just like, there's been times where I've gotten better at it with the help of her, and that's what makes her, I don't understand that woman. She's the most amazing person I've ever met. And she's helped me get through so much of my shit. I just think of myself. I always joke with her. I'm like, I know, babe, I'm a piece of shit. And she's will instantly be like, you need to stop talking like that. Because you're not. That's not how I think of you. And the things like yes, you hurt me, but I also hurt you. And we've moved on, and in the healthy way, kind of like what she was talking about in her podcast was like, there's being a sucker and just kind of like bending over and just not dealing with your shit. But like, hey, we dealt with our shit. We got in the ring and we fought it out, and this is where we're at, you know, but
with the whole idea of like, going through your errors and your trials and, other people, like casting their stones at you. I was listening to a video of Tim Ferriss. I don't know if you know who he is.
I think I've heard of him.
He's a famous author. At least that's what I know him from, is him being an author. And he was talking about advice that he gives to people when they are starting to come a little bit into the limelight, because the career that they've taken or whatever they've done is lead to a decent amount of success to where they're like on a big platform and under like kind of like the eyeglass of society. And he says the best advice he can give those people when it comes to dealing with how other people are viewing you when you're on the big stage is you're never as bad as they say you are, but you're also never as good as they say you are. And he goes, it keeps people grounded in the middle.
Humble,
because there are going to be people who walk around and say that you're the best thing ever to walk the earth. And then there are also people who are going to say that you're worse. Yeah. The worst thing ever to walk the earth. Yeah. And so he's like, you have to remind yourself to discard the extremes on both sides, not just the bad.
Yeah, because you have to weigh yourself out. Like, you're not a god, but you're not trash.
Yeah, you're not a god, but you're not
like, you're just a human being, and everybody makes fucking mistakes. It just depends. It's purely on the character that you are now. People, this whole thing with like bringing up everybody's past, it's like people have made mistakes. Who are they now? Like
that's the biggest beef with the James Gunn shit.
Yeah, dude, and that's just like they're really, really poorly said jokes, and they're really
Like,
fucking dark. But it's just like Anthony Jeselnik makes fucking jokes about murdering babies and children and shit. But it's like
Ryan is taking a bathroom break.
yes, but Anthony Jeselnik is not a shit person.
No, exactly, and like that's the entirety of it. Is just like it's ironic, even if it may not be ironic. The same idea that we touched on when Alex was on the episode, but you have to be able to allow redemption. You have to allow people a road back to acceptance, because if you want to cancel someone at their first sin, then it leaves no room for error for anybody, and you're going to eat your own.
Yeah.
It's just going to be this piranha tank of people who run out of food and start cannibalism. And that's where it fucking pisses me off, because people like to take a situation where someone is like openly violently raping someone, and the reaction that is fitting for that, they almost like to copy and paste it on everything that they see as wrong. So it's like you see someone who openly like violently rapes somebody, and you're like, fuck this person, they're a piece of shit, I hope they die, lock them up forever, throw away the key, blah blah blah, all this stuff. And then you have like a Republican who's pro-life, or you have somebody who doesn't agree with your religion, or you have like someone who thinks that, welfare shouldn't be a thing or should be a thing. And they take that same outrage that they have towards the violent rapist, and then they put it towards the pro-life conservative, or towards the anti-welfare or pro-welfare person, or towards the non-religious or other religion. And they think that it makes them more virtuous just because they want to react to something they see as wrong with the same level of outrage as they would with the worst thing possible.
Right. The last sentence is what we were basically talking about. It's just like people taking their reactions to the worst fucking thing possible and applying it to literally every bad thing there is. And
or everything they see like subjectively as bad.
And then we were also talking about like,
and that's why
everything lines with so many things. It's according to your worldview.
Yeah, and that's why we said that there needs to be a road to redemption, and why that like that overreaction to everything is so awful, because it leaves no room for error.
Yeah.
You have to be perfect, and the only people that consider themselves perfect are the ones pointing fingers out at everybody else.
Yeah,
and
I totally agree. Like, and to get back to what we were saying, like about parenting, like when that day comes, it's like I know there's going to be
a little bit closer.
There's going to be times when Amelia's going to come home, and it's going to be something where I'm like, oh my fucking God.
Mm-hmm.
Like she comes home with a hickey on her neck.
And that's the thing. Like, she can't stay a baby forever. She has to grow up. So those things, like, the thing that's crazy about that is like, that's inevitable.
Yeah.
Like her finding an attraction in whomever, but it's inevitable that she's eventually going to find an attraction to somebody.
And the worst thing you can do is try to control it.
Oh yeah,
because that turns resentment towards the parents. It makes them go behind their back. It makes them.
I mean, that's the exact same
We've
thing.
all had friends where they've had the parents that were just like constantly on them. Like,
I mean, you even said like a lot of your life was sugar coated.
Yeah.
So it's just like you can't do that because then they come fuck. The thing
and it was
that's
hard.
always,
like for my mom, like my parents got divorced when I was 7, and so my mom, dude, she's amazing. Like her having to wear both hats. Like she worked hard jobs, and I mean, I was 7, my sister was 1.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And
it's a
so
full plate.
It was crazy. Like we moved out here from Northridge. They got a divorce. My mom was doing well. Like she was managing like apartment buildings and in Northridge and in the Valley. And then we moved up here because my dad had a drug issue. And so he came up to a home up here and they split. And then we went from a home like with a dog, great life, to like a 2-bedroom apartment and getting rid of the dog. And then my mom having to work these hard jobs and then pay for like do all the bills.
Big
we were
shock.
in private school because she was worried. Like she's like, I just need to get my kids in like somewhat good, healthy environments.
That's where they sacrifice their entire livelihood
They
for
sacrificed.
yours.
She sacrificed everything, dude. And then
Shout out to your mom.
yeah, shout out to mom. Shout out to all the single moms. I mean, gosh, dude, all the single parents.
Yeah.
With that relationship that you had, was she accepting with open arms for your flaws or your like bad decisions?
Yeah, it hurt her hard, and she was crushed, but she was there. Like she wasn't lenient. She made it known, like
She put her fucking foot down.
that's not right.
Yeah.
That's not who I raised. That's not what I worked so hard to like keep you from.
Yeah,
Is
dude,
all that
imagine
shit.
that fucking like as a
And,
parent,
yeah,
like I worked this fucking hard and you made this mistake. Like
yeah. And some people will be like, "Well, that's wrong to put that much guilt on your kids." And I think at a certain age, like
It's
wrong. Appropriate
And
to say
there
like
is
what
ages
the age
where-
I was at, like 21, 22.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
definitely. You're not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
No way.
You're another
Smack
adult.
your
You're
ass
fucking
around.
getting it, dude.
Yeah.
What was there?
You're
was
a
there
grown adult.
instances? Was there instances when you were a kid or a teenager? Let's say that's more fitting because you can think more as an individual. Where you did something and you didn't see it as wrong, and like maybe to this day you still don't think it's something that was wrong, but to your mother's worldview it was wrong or it was something that should be shamed. And so it was more of a, rather than like you doing something, then feeling guilty about it and coming clean, it was like you doing something and going, I don't think this is wrong, but I know that my mom would totally like disapprove or feel
Yeah.
shameful.
Yeah, like I'd go out partying and like looking back on it, I'm like, well, I was socializing. I was with my friends. I was hanging out with people that I wanted to be with.
right.
And they meant something to me. But there's also the ill intentions of a lot of it, you know,
Yeah.
like just wanting to hook up with the girls, and according to her, like how she wanted to raise me, it wasn't right.
Right.
And man, it's crazy like how your view on so many things changes after you become a parent.
Really?
It's a hard balance, because there's things I believe, like there's conversations I'll get into, and I don't know if people will think it, like as they're listening to this, like, oh man, dude, what an asshole. Like, so what's he gonna do when like his daughter comes home at 16 and tells him like she lost his virginity? Like, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna say? You know, how's he gonna respond? And right now I don't know. I'm not going to respond in anger. I know for a fact I won't respond in anger. Like my arms are going to be open.
Favorite answer is I don't know. That's fair. That's totally fucking fair.
Yeah.
Like he brought that up where we were having a discussion, and it's just like, if you don't know, you don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Just own it. And
Quit trying to sound intelligent and like you know your shit.
Yeah.
Dude, you're human. You don't have all the fucking answers, man.
Exactly.
Like it's okay. And if someone wants to judge you off of that, like, dude, being a parent's fucking hard. I can't even imagine how hard it was for my mom. Single parent, 2 kids.
Yeah, like you have Alex at home watching Ren.
Yeah, right now. She's just,
and we're doing this.
Alex, before I got here, like she went out and like knocked out like our a bunch of errands, like doing the grocery shopping for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And all like within like 2.5 hours.
Oh shit.
And you know, some people will be like, well, yeah, it's being a mom, get it. But I think there needs to be more credit given to that. Like to the moms, to the dads who like do that. Like, dude, good for you.
Because people would, this is the thing. I think thinking of it now, like on the spot while you're talking about this, it kind of gave me a little bit of a realization. Take what parents do for their kids, right? Take all the effort, like all the hours worked and, you know, the groceries shopped and the money balance and the time spent, tears, blood, sweat, all that. And then just take the kid out of the situation.
Sharing food.
Well, yeah.
Half your In-N-Out fries.
But take the kid out of the situation and then just have an individual work that hard, but for themselves. People would be amazed. They'd be like, holy shit, what a fucking trooper.
Yeah.
You're so like, you have such a strong
dedicated,
will. Yeah, you're so honorable. What the fuck? Like, that's so strong of you to be able to like, work a 60-hour work week, then go home and grocery shop and then get 3 hours of sleep, do the next thing all over again and all this stuff. Like, you're fucking grinding. That's amazing. Right? And people are like so wowed by it. But then you throw a kid in there and you're like, oh, that's just the parent life. You're just being a dad, just being a mom. And
have you seen that video where they basically made all those points? That's why.
No, I haven't.
It's a video that like explains like I don't remember the exact things that they explain, but it's just like she works really hard or she does
all
this.
the scenarios,
it goes through all the scenarios, and then at the very end, it's like, and she's a mom, and she all those things listed. She does those for her kids. How did you feel before we said that? And it was just like, you're just like, God damn, she works fucking hard. Yeah. And then it's just like you said, this driven individual kicking fucking ass. Yeah. And that's for any single parent.
Yeah. And then, she's a mom and he's a dad.
Yeah. And then it's like, you add in the child part and people go, oh, well, that's what you're supposed to. No, fuck you. No, it's not.
You're still human, dude. There's still times where you're like, man, like I had... there's so much I used to do.
Yeah. Like
there's so much time I used to put to that, to this, to
4 hours of sleep when you're single is just still 4 hours of sleep when you have a kid. Yeah. It's still the same amount of sleep.
But with a kid, it's like, whoa.
That's why it's cool. Like I said, whenever I come over to your guys' house, it doesn't feel like you're going to your friends who have a kid. You're just going to your friend's house still. Like that's how you guys kept it. Like when Amelia's hanging out with us, when I don't come over at fucking 9:30 at night when she's asleep, but like in midday hanging out with you guys and she's out, it's just like we're literally just talking, having a conversation, like we're just friends hanging out, and Amelia's just doing her own thing. And if she falls, you go, okay, she's good. If she like really falls, you're like, you good? And then she gets back up, and then that's it. Like you guys have the same level of like, I know that you feel like in your own perspective that you don't have a lot of time, but you definitely don't show it like that. You guys just show it as like, oh, it was just an adjustment. Now we got a kiddo. Now we got another mouth to feed, and we hang out with her, and she's a friend, just like living with us essentially is how.
Yeah, the fucking roommate woke us up again. There's shit all over the place.
Go back to sleep. Damn it.
Your room is a mess. You ever think about cleaning that shit?
That's why I speak so highly of you guys, is because you guys have this cool little balance, and you have this cool way about you guys, and you guys work together well, and you speak about each other kindly, and you talk about Amelia like she's, which she is, like the best thing that's happened to you guys.
So freaking, dude, she ate it so hard today. She's got this thing where she's like claiming the coffee table in the living room, and the coffee table's got like an iron edge to it.
Yeah.
And so she was climbing it, and she got all the way up there, and I was like, "Hey, Jimmy," no, I was like, "Hey, get down! Like you're not supposed to be up there." Just like that. So she went to start getting down, and she had one leg down, and she thought she was closer, and she went to plant and she wasn't. Full and her whole body went down, but she caught her mouth right on that iron edge of the table.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And instantly like couldn't catch her breath.
Oh, knocked the wind out of her.
I went over to her. No, she just started crying. And she was like, lips turning blue, and I didn't like rush over to her. I went over to her.
I took my sweet ass time to that dumbass who didn't listen to me.
I told you. I told you.
Look who's blue in the face now.
You shall suffer until Papa gets
there. You want me to hold you? Oh, no. No, I went over to her and went to hold her, and I was like, hey, that's why you can't get up there. But then like her just, it's such an amazing thing, man. Like, being a dad is the coolest, greatest thing. And the fact that I've lived the way I lived with such nasty, horrible actions, things that I didn't need to do, but yet I get to experience this still.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain that. That's miracle. To me, that's a miracle.
Yeah.
Like those are miracles. That's my miracle in my life, is that I get to go home. I get to have a life with an amazing, beautiful funny, scary, awesome woman like Alex and a loving, wild little girl like Ren. It's amazing. I absolutely am so grateful for them. I love them.
I think there's a barrier between people who have not had kids yet and people who have had kids. And I think you can do like everything you can to try to like
emulate that.
We'll try to explain how it is on the other side, but you never truly get it until you cross over to the other side. And then it's understood because like, I think experiences in life that are so monumental, like parenthood or like near death experiences or like true love, stuff like that, I think are unexplainable through like language. I think you can't really ever do it justice until it's experienced.
Yeah. There's so many things parents told us, get ready for this, get ready for that. There's just going to be this. And you'd see parents dealing with it with their kids or like handling it like a temper or positive or negative moment. And you're like, yeah, how am I going to do that? The screaming kid in the grocery store, like whoop that kid's ass. You just never know until you're in it, man. And like we've learned so much, and we like always say to ourselves, like just judging parents is just, it's a shitty thing. Like, you never know what's going on, man. You never know about that kid. You never know like the day that mom has had, or what if that is a single mom? What if that is a single dad? Like,
what if they're just fucking drained?
What if they're just drained, dude? What if
just because they're at the grocery store and out in public doesn't mean that they're not having the hardest fucking day possible.
So as a parent, when it comes to like parents judging parents, I think even though there like is like context to everything, do you think there are like certain like objective rules,
like actions, like
parenting, like even though like, you know, you shouldn't really judge others, especially on how to raise their kids, there are instances where like you're in public and you see something that another parent's doing to their kid and you're like, that is not cool. Good. Like, and no matter what's going on behind closed doors, it's probably worse.
Like the whole hitting kids.
You see someone strike their kid and not only like hit them, because you know, you get it, they grab like the jelly jar off the shelf and it's glass, so you grab it out and swat their wrist or some shit. Like, you know, that's fine. But like if you see someone like strike their kid across the face in public and you're like, this is what they're willing to do out here,
it's going down right there actually.
Like what do you, as a dad, how is that received by you when you see other parenting? And it's not just like, I can't really judge them because they do things differently. It's objectively wrong.
Do something. Like so Alex told me a story about a woman she works with, how she was coming out of work and there is this dad with his daughter who is about 1.5, and he picked, like, she was throwing a tantrum. A 1.5-year-old was throwing a tantrum, and he picked her up by the arm. And this dude was huge. They said like over like 6'4", 6'5".
Jeez,
just massive dude. Picked her up by the arm and socked her in the belly. And was like, and so the girl that Alex works with instantly ran over and grabbed the kid and like went to shelter the kid and like was like, asked him like, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck's wrong with you? What are you doing? And took the kid from him and was sheltering the kid. And then he was yelling at her, like starting to get physical with her and grabbing her. And then this dude jumped out of a car and was like, hey man, what are you doing? Like, went to like stop him and he freaking clocked that guy. And they started going at it. And so stuff like that, like I said, it's going down. Like that's not happening.
Yeah.
Like I heard a mom, we were walking through the store and I heard a mom talking to like, I think like a 3-year-old. It was like, I'm going to smack you in the face. I'm going to smack you in the face. I'm going to smack you in the face if you don't knock this off. And was like cursing like crazy and was like just continuing to emphasize like physical
Violence.
like prowess and like I'm gonna I hurt you.
Yeah.
Like, do I believe in spanking? Yeah, dude. Like I believe in spanking, but there's a balance there too.
The
There's
point of
like,
spanking isn't as much for the physical pain as it is for the lesson
it's not to
behind
set
it.
a dominance.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like a lot of times, like the physical is used as like a dominance. And
It's like what's the fucking word? It's intimidation.
yeah, exactly an intimidation factor. And
Yeah.
I just don't think that's cool. Like, am I going to step in and like, hey, you shouldn't talk to your kid like that? No, it'd be like if I come around the corner and I see her like pop, 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 you know, like smacking.
Yeah.
Am I going to think in my head like, man, dude, like you really shouldn't be talking like that? I just don't think that's positive in their development. I don't think that's right.
That's gonna turn that kid into the same exact adult.
Exactly. Just aggressive. And like that dude who hit that little baby in the belly, like I'm not justifying that at all. But that could have been a result of like
Him having
aggressive parenting.
Yeah.
You know? And so
I don't think that is justifying it. Like
No.
I think that's a
given a like a
direct
psychological
direct correlation.
Yeah.
Yes. A psychoanalysis.
There's definitely things like that are
Like if you hear the like even past like physical, like you hear a parent like oh like you're such a piece of shit. Like
I was
you, like,
literally about to say like if I heard a parent say that, yeah.
yeah, like you're so worthless. Like I should have never had you. Like shit like that.
What the fuck is all
like
that?
if you hear stuff like that, like I've always been so critical of the don't ever like the golden rule that should never be touched of like don't tell other people how to raise their kids, because like I think that there are just certain rules that like should be universal, and when you see parents acting with like malicious behavior towards their kids, it's like I don't give a fuck if that's your kid.
Yeah.
Adopted parents would raise your kid better than you raise your kid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where if like I heard some parents say that, I'd be like, well, man, I wish they didn't have you as a parent.
Yeah.
Like you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
poor them that they have you as a parent.
They didn't have a choice. They were
Yeah.
born into whatever fucking shitty household you have.
So it's and by no means am I saying I'm this great parent. Like
But you're definitely better than most, right? Better than a lot.
My patience level is really bad at times. There's times, I mean, I think that's with any parent where you walk away from a situation or how you handle it and you're like, man, I could have done better. I could have done better with that situation.
Analyzing yourself right then and there, which is a good trait to have, period. But
yeah, instead of just walking after and be like,
the
dumb
thing
bitch.
is like it's not putting yourself on the scale of parenting compared to the fucking guy punching his fucking kid in the stomach. Of course, anybody can say I'm a better. Well, I wouldn't say anybody. Majority of people can say I'm a better parent than that. But
I can't even like it.
But
I
by
asked
no
Alex,
means,
I'm like, did you? Because the lady said she's like they were asking like, well, what weren't you thinking about his size? Like how big? It's like no, when you're a parent, especially like moms, it's like that whole like mama bear thing. It's like, dude, they'll fucking wreck you, dude.
Oh yeah,
like a woman will fuck you up if she sees like you're messing with her cubs, man.
But the whole like you saying that like you're not the greatest parent, it's like there's no perfect parent, but by no means do I think that you're not a great parent. Like situational, sure, some situations you don't handle correctly, but all the shit that I see, all the stuff that Alex talks about with you and Amelia, the fucking pictures you guys take together,
you should be able to grant yourself credit.
Yeah, you should. It's just like it's hard to talk about yourself in specific ways. Yeah. Obviously, you're not going to sit there and be like, yeah, of course I'm a great parent and I'm a hard worker.
Obviously, they're not me. They're not even trying to be.
But you can hands down say you're a good parent.
Do you even
have
parent. As beautiful as a kid as I do?
but yeah, it's situational things. Like obviously, I always talk about with my dad. Like great guy, raised us, put a roof over our heads, food in our bellies, like all that kind of stuff. Did he understand us all the time? No. But was he trying his best to get us out of the fucking shittiest situation our family was ever in? Yeah. And like, that's what makes him a good parent. Yeah. All of our fights and all those different things. Like he again, doesn't understand us most of the time, but he did what he could. Yeah. So he's a great parent in that aspect. Yeah. And it's whereas like again, he didn't handle certain situations correctly, but by no means is he a shit parent.
No.
And it's just like, it's the same thing where you say like, maybe I shouldn't have handled that right. How often does that happen?
Yeah.
Like versus how
it's
often
true,
you
like,
guys have great fucking days.
My mom comes to me so much and was like, man, like I wish I could have done more for you. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like Rihanna and I are breathing and we're doing well.
Yeah.
Like we're not dead. You didn't leave us. Like
You guys are still close.
With the statistics of like what usually happens with divorce and kids and the parents, like you're a freaking hero.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, I mean,
fuck, man, it's even just the you didn't leave us part.
Yeah.
Like as much as people go,
you
well,
didn't just be like,
duh.
fuck it, dude, whatever, do whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly. That is where people go like, well, that's a duh. Not really. Not really, dude. You try handling 2 or more kids, like my dad handling 6 kids on his own.
God.
Like fucking my dad told me, Jesus Christ, Caleb.
I didn't touch
that
it.
wasn't
It
Caleb.
was me.
I thought you sat down and kicked it. No, that fucking thing went right in your face.
Take this guy.
My dad, dude, told me some real dark shit, which like I don't think he would mind me talking about this, but like handling 6 kids with a wife that's doing drugs down the street, trying to figure out a balance while you're working 5 to 6 days a week and you're working 12-hour days, driving home and hearing that your kids are like, I got suspended from school once.
Yeah.
And
Nick's putting a spoon between his teeth again.
Jesus. But all of that shit happening, and my dad was telling me one day, he was like, oh yeah, I contemplated suicide all the time. He's like, on my drives home, I used to think about it, but the only thing that kept me here was you guys. Like, I knew that I had to come home. I had to be a dad. I had to. But my life was a fucking living hell. And I'm just like, and you didn't leave. That's the bottom line is like, you didn't leave. Everything else that comes after that is thank you.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for, even though like, yeah, again, certain situations you didn't handle correctly. And like, maybe you didn't need to hit us here and there. Like he never like beat the shit out of us. It was just like, I mentioned it once before.
Yeah. You get popped
smacked me across
sometimes.
the face and he didn't do it after that. I think the last time I was like 12 and he realized like, oh shit, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I keep stressing that whole you didn't leave part.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. When it gets hard at a job where you're just like, fuck this job. I can't do this anymore. You quit. You can't do that as a parent because you're a shit fucking person if you do. Those kids are depending on you.
Yeah.
Like you brought them here. And even if you didn't want to, it was just like, look, man, they're looking toward you for everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool
and
to
so
hear.
many, like, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it's just cool to hear that your mom did that for you, and that you and your sister can be that thankful, and that you talk about your mom the way that you do.
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey, without you raising me the way that you did, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now.
Yeah. And me and my mom's relationship, like, there's like it's hard at times. It's like we'll bicker at each other, we'll fight a lot, but it's at the end of it, what I always think of like the core of our relationship. It's like, man, dude, like you didn't dip. Like you kept it together from what we noticed, you know, and if you didn't keep it together, then that's valid too. If you lost your sanity.
That's a good job of hiding it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's awesome, man.
It's one of those things where like you realize how often it does happen where the parent does dip. And it's like you, that's where that like value and that grateful, overwhelming feeling comes from, is when it's like, it's not like, oh, you know, you say you could have dipped but no one really ever does dip. It's like you could have dipped because a shit ton of parents do. And you see how it affects those kids without their like decision of any of that. Like if you're born, you don't decide to get born. It's not you. And then your parent leaves, you don't have a say in that either. It's just like handing a kid a shitty ass hand in poker and going, all right, I'll
Deal.
in. Yeah. place your
You
bet.
have to put, you have to put all your chips in.
You have to put all in.
Doesn't
so
matter.
You better fucking
You have no
hope.
idea. No,
Yeah,
you have to put them all in.
Yep, you have better fucking hope you get lucky.
Yeah.
Right? And only once you become more of an individual, once you start growing up, do the reins of life start actually becoming in your hands. And at that point, you have to work with the scars and the trauma and all of the shit that you've been put through until that point, which makes it way harder for you than someone else who was lucky enough to have a parent to stick around even through the thick.
Because it takes kids a lot of fucking time. Like, I mean, the two main things that I remember very specifically growing up with, and it took me years to fucking realize like it wasn't me, was when my parents got a divorce. I remember the last time before my parents actually got a divorce, before they split, I had screamed at my mom telling her like, fuck you, I hate you because you're taking care of these kids and you're doing drugs down the street and you're doing this to the family. Yeah. And she fucking reached back as far as she could and smacked me harder than I've ever been smacked in my life. And I was just like, I hope you fucking die. Like I remember saying that. And then that night I remember watching from my front door, watching my parents get a divorce, like them, that was it, like screaming at each other in the front lawn. No. And then my mom smacking my dad and walking away and my dad just crying. And I was like, I caused that. And then when my mom like disappeared, I'm pretty sure every member of my family to some degree thought, well, the kids thought like I caused this. And it's just like,
you have that self-guilt.
When parents do shit like that, yes, you may think, and again, with my mom and her mindset with all the drugs and everything, like she probably wasn't thinking clearly, but it's just like you are putting this weight on your kids and now they're taking it upon themselves thinking they caused all these issues. And so those kids grow up with these fucked up ideas in their head of how things work. And it's just like that's why when it comes down to parents that stick around and when you get older, I mean, obviously it was hard for me at fucking 16 to 18 and 20 and all the ages in between and after and before. It's just like to look at my dad and go like, you fucking did the thing for us, dude. Like you, and even still he does this thing that we always laugh at where he sends a group text of any family member's birthday when it's their birthday. He tells everybody, hey, it's their birthday. Don't forget. And we always laugh at it and we always joke with him and or not joke with him, but joke with each other of just like, hey guys, don't forget this person's birthday. But the guy's still fucking doing something for the family, still putting in his effort.
Awesome.
So it's just like, you know, it's all perspective. And it's cool that you have that for your mom. It's cool that you have your views with Alex and Amelia with your family and you have this work at. You're a good fucking dude. You got a great fucking head on your shoulders. Thanks, it's wonderful talking to you all the time, dude.
And that's why Nick shot you the invite.
Yeah. And
that's the nutshell of it.
Now you understand why.
Oh yeah.
Because it's just like it was cool to me knowing that Tub doesn't know that much about you. And that he can get to know you through this. And that's where this podcast is great, is because like people can get to know your character and hopefully, and I guarantee because it happens with everybody that shares deep stuff about themselves, people reach out to them. And if they don't, there's at least one person listening that goes, I'm going to adopt that mindset. I'm going to learn something from this. I'm going to try and be a better person. I'm going to learn from my mistakes, whatever the case may be.
It resonates. It's with a lot more people than we ever can tell, because as you now have the firsthand experience, you're just sitting at a table with your buds talking. Like the microphones melt away. Yeah. You're sitting here just having a conversation. When I went to the bathroom and I came out, just sounded like, you know, a hangout. Yeah. It sounded like a chill sesh. Yeah. And so like you don't that's the thing about being humans is you kind of need to like somehow, some way visualize, get an idea of what's happening behind the doors or behind the scenes. Or else it doesn't really like click in your head. Yeah. And so even with Nick and I, who've been doing this shit for months now and who have several episodes under our belt, we never really will get a good grasp of how many people are listening and how it looks. Like if we were like our average listener 75, if we were to throw 75 people in a house and then grab microphones and stand up on some stools and talk to them like this, way fucking different, right? But since all those people are like poof, not here, and it's just us talking, and we can get way more comfortable, open up about way more things, you don't realize how many people are listening and how many people it does resonate with, and how many people may be seeing their parents' roles in their lives completely from a 180 perspective now.
Yeah, that's why I said what I said in the beginning, where I think it's great what you guys are doing, giving people platforms to share, you know, and to share their story and to be open and vulnerable. It's fucking scary. Oh, when I got up a couple minutes ago and went to the bathroom, I looked in the mirror and was like, "Oh shit, should I have shared that?"
It hits you. The reality sets in, and you're like, the fucking the like
kind of like Steve Carell, 40-year-old virgin, when he's getting ready to get waxed. You're like, oh.
It's like it's almost a mirage that gets put up around this table.
It's like you're in a little bubble, dude.
Yeah,
you're
just like I can share everything right now. And then next thing you know, it's on the internet permanently, and you're like, oh.
You got a text, you're like, fuck, delete it.
What's crazy is that I'm pretty sure Alex told you that your mom listened to her episode.
Yeah.
So it's like your mom's going to see your name and listen to this episode and hear those things. And like the best part is when you were talking about those people, when you started talking about your mom, and you started talking about, especially when you started talking about Alex and Amelia, there was a point where you were getting like really in depth with the way that you felt about them. People can't see it, but they probably could hear it. Like your eyes started welling up a little bit, and like you started to get emotional about it. And you were doing those things, not even thinking, because like we said, this stuff in front of you disappears. Yeah. You completely forget they're going to listen to this later. So they get to hear how you feel without, you know, that whole like, oh, they might be listening and I should say this. No, you're just saying it from the bottom of your fucking heart because this shit in front of you was not there 10 minutes ago. And then when you said you got up to go to the bathroom, you're like, oh shit, I just realized like we're doing a podcast. Like we're not just hanging out.
I think like personally, like I've lost that like kind of like shock to it. Cause like when I went to the bathroom and I like looked myself in the mirror, I was like, oh, scraggly fuck. I was like, I need a fucking haircut.
What are you doing with yourself?
I was like, oh damn. Anyway, back to the
podcast, back to the job. But no, dude, I think that's a wonderful note to end on. Especially because we are about 10 minutes shy of 3 hours.
Yeah. I looked at the time and I'm like, oh shoot, my bad.
No, not your bad, dude. This is
the good ones usually go 3 hours.
Yes, that is very true, and it was solid the whole way through.
This was I enjoyed this. Yeah. I was I had to drive out to Victorville today to pay a ticket.
Oh, you actually went?
Yeah.
I thought you just said that like
I called him as soon as they opened. I'm like, hey, so I got a ticket. Can I do this? And so I went and handled it.
Well, thank you for still being able to come through.
It was cake. I mean, it was a lot shorter than I thought. I'm like, oh. But on the way in, I was like listening to so many things and I was getting like topics in my head. I'm like, oh, I should bring this up. I'll bring that up, bring this up. Yeah. But then I'm like, dude, wherever it goes, where it goes.
That's exactly how it is.
It's always cool to have topics, especially if it's just like, hey, what do you think of hang gliding? And then us three could just go on.
And then next thing you know, you're talking about childhood trauma.
Yeah. I know. We're talking.
I don't know. I don't trust the rubber band. It could snap like my parents' marriage.
Bungee jumping or skydiving? Yeah, I don't know. But I wrecked a marriage. I don't know.
I really like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I was hit as a child.
So what do you think of the new movies coming out? I don't know, but I have a bad drug addiction right now. I need help, please. Real quick, I want to ask this because you can't get super in depth. You just got to go right off the bat.
Okay.
Genie, 3 wishes. What's it going to be? And this is not because of fucking Aladdin came out. I didn't see that movie.
There's some resentment in that.
Shit. Just 3 quick answers.
Are there rules?
What's it going to be? No, dude. Whatever.
No rules.
Whatever.
I need money.
3 wishes. I need money.
I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of it. tired of this shit.
Tired of being
I'm not even talking about like millions either. I just want.
I'm talking about trillions.
I don't want to instantly get bored with too much money, right? You know, like that would be fun for a couple of years. But I'm talking about
because that's possible.
What?
Bored with too much money?
Oh, dude, imagine like having.
I think you could be bored with too much money.
There's no goal anymore. There's literally no goal.
There's so much in this world you could do.
Well,
I'm not talking like thrill seeking. I'm like, hey, let me see. Oh, look at that country starving.
Oh, well, okay, yes. When you're talking about that, sure, but and that's where that.
Well,
is a
it depends on the
topic.
human themselves,
Of course.
But like, you definitely could grow numb to.
Yeah,
the lavishness.
I don't want an unlimited
that's a
amount
good
of
way of
money
looking at it.
because that's where I'd get bored. I want a good amount of money where I can still strive for more.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I mean by money.
Okay. Be like a wolf on Wall Street.
I'll have to make it interesting. We'll make it creative. I'll wish for a safe that only opens every 10 years, and I can pull out a certain amount of a lot of money, and then that is supposed to last me to the next 10 years.
Well, that's pretty
till I
cool.
open up and again.
That's pretty cool. I've never ever thought of something like that.
I'm just like, poof that shit in front of me.
Give me cash.
Sometimes I hate your answers. Fuck you.
He makes you like he'll answer
fuck.
and you're just like,
No,
whoa.
fuck this. No, forget the genie thing. End this. End the podcast.
You don't creative fuck.
What's one of yours?
One is a hoverboard.
Ooh, like an actual hoverboard.
Fucking Back to the Future hoverboard.
No, the one with
fuck
wheels that costs $150.
Yeah, fuck that shit. When those came
Like
out and they're like hoverboards, I'm like, it's a fucking hoverboard.
A hoverboard that only goes
Michael
up.
J. Fox would never ride that.
All I see is a sideways scooter with no handle.
Can you
So, a
imagine
whole
if they
bunch of
had a
bullshit.
handle on it and you're like, oh, whoa,
If they had a handle on it, it's just
Ooh.
what the mall cops ride.
little,
That's true.
what are those called? Segways.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
So like, does a hoverboard pick up more than just like a couple feet off the ground? Like, can you actually like hover, fly with that thing?
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah. That thing's tight.
Yeah.
It's like with a parachute. Everything I do with a parachute.
Does that have a parachute on it? Does that have
I wouldn't fucking do it. Why the
that-
fuck do you think I'd do it? I
Is
don't
there
trust
airbags? Enclosed.
In case it flips upside down,
Yeah.
you go inside a capsule.
Yeah,
Honestly,
hoverboard for sure.
I know this is a weird one, but I realized this more recently because I went to that Nickelodeon thing.
Oh, yeah.
And there was all these stars walking
Nick, you
around.
can get slide really easily.
I fucking hate
Nickelodeon.
that haunts me because of my name. I want to
People
be
say that to you? They used to
in
do that?
middle school. Yes, it was so
I didn't
stupid.
even say that because of your name.
Oh,
I
no.
just because of
I know it's totally fair, but I want to be able to like speak to whoever I want to. Like I can go up to them and know I can start any conversation right then and there, and
Yeah.
we can just have a conversation.
Okay.
Because like having all those stars around, like there was Olivia Wilde and Jason Sudeikis were there, Kim Kardashian was there, and it's just like
Sudeikis?
Sudeikis was there.
Sudsy?
Sudsy? We go way back. But I just want to be able to like have it's basically like a power to be able to speak to whoever is in the room, knowing we could very well have a great conversation. I feel like
I
that's
thought you were going to say like to be able to like know what they're thinking. I'm like, fuck that.
no, I wouldn't. I feel like that's too far, and I feel like
And that could
I
be
wouldn't-
crushing.
exactly. I
Because
don't
what
want
if
to know
Suds was like, this guy's a dick.
what a fucking
like,
douche
wow.
with that haircut. I'd be like, Suds.
Sudsy!
You walk up, you're like, "Hi, I'm Nick," and he's like, "Whoa, that breath is kicking." Next thing you're like,
I freaking hate this guy. Who is this? Just go
So-
back to your camera.
That's one of them. What's the fuck?
It's not even a real job.
I
Just kidding. That's an inside
know.
joke.
Yeah,
Inside joke.
yeah.
Inside joke.
I think I would wish for the ability to fluently speak any language.
That's cool.
Any like you can just change it up any language.
Any language.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, because then you could like, just fucking catch a flight to China and just speak Mandarin like fluently with everyone, slang everything.
That's a good one.
And then,
Wait, we'll do the third one.
oh
in
yeah,
a
you
second.
do your yeah.
I seriously hate the clockwise order we're going in because each of my answers now after you, I'm like,
Okay,
God
all
damn
right,
it.
go ahead.
No, I'm not going to go to the third one now. No, he's not going to answer the third one.
He's like, my second wish is that Caleb only gets two. Checkmate, bitch.
Oh man.
Oh,
dude.
shit.
Mine seriously, they've been like my choices for so long, just right off the top of my head, like whatever, fuck it, I'm not
You're
gonna
like,
do
you're
that.
20 years old, get off my dick.
Oh,
After
it's Back to the Future.
Wait till y'all hear my unlimited Twinkies wish.
I kind of feel like on Zombieland when Woody Harrelson, he's like looking for a Twinkie. He just wants the fucking Twinkie. Dude, mine are just like
No,
feel
we
like-
need your simplicity to balance the conversation
So
out before I wish for omnipotence.
oh man, my second one is a Transformer, dude.
A real one?
Fucking
Yours are so
real
sick.
Transformer, bro. Can you imagine having a real fucking Transformer?
As it follows you around on your hoverboard?
What is
Fuck
its
yeah, dude,
what
I
is
got my
its
hoverboard in the trunk.
what is its
It's shape, it's state.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
Can it like switch that up? It just scans whatever it
Yeah,
is. and
scan
it
whatever I want it to
transforms?
be.
well
So-
that depends on the Transformer, right?
No,
Oh,
that's-
no,
that's
that's any of
that's
them.
when
all
they
That's right,
land,
that's right.
when they land, they
All-
just
they could do
scan it
that.
and turn into that. They just
Dude.
kind of have favorites, I guess.
when fucking Megatron, was it him that flew up as that jet in the movie?
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was Megatron or his fucking henchman or whatever the fuck flew up as a jet. I was like, yo,
Yeah.
that's fucking
shit's
sick.
quick on the Transformer movies, the last 2 or 3, I think it was. All the ones that came after Shia LaBeouf,
Yes.
blow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Blow.
I agree. I love Mark Wahlberg. I really do.
Oh yeah, great.
Those were
But I think kind of like what you were saying, like how or both of you were saying it, but like how a movie's done,
yeah.
and how it's directed and all that,
Yeah.
how it's written. Those movies sucked.
Oh yeah,
sucked.
the Shia LaBeouf.
The
ones are
whole stupid
fucking
thing of it,
sick.
they're knights. It's all medieval now.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I didn't even know
there's
that
like
was
a
a thing.
Merlin. Merlin's all tied in with like Transformers. What?
Didn't even know that.
There's
at
Transformer
all.
King
Jesus.
Arthur and like
Transformer Jesus.
stupid shit. Dude.
I honestly,
He's a cross.
You didn't know, but the Ark, Noah's Ark, that's a Transformer.
Oh, guys, we need to get a script going. We can cast Mark Wahlberg.
As Noah?
no.
2 of every Decepticon.
One Decepticon
shit.
with
Man, mine and probably Nick's as well. Transformer would be like, I'm tired of being a Tesla.
Can I just be something else?
It can be the Roadster, but that's another Tesla. Shut up. I don't know what the fuck my third one would be.
This is your second one.
No, I did my second one. That was a talking one. Money was the first.
Oh, that's right. We started. That's right.
Yeah. I have no idea what the third one would be. If I could have I remember somebody said, I forgot who it was. It might have been a comedian or somebody just telling a story, but they were like, if I could have a superpower, like it'd be like a super villain superpower where they could snap their finger and anybody that they snap their finger toward instantly has a full bladder. And they said, just imagine. Yeah. And I was like, what about robbing a bank? They're like, think about it. Cops are pointing their guns at you and you fill their bladder to the brim. It's going from the most uncomfortable, or they're completely fine, to the most uncomfortable state. They're gonna instantly just like they're gonna drop their guns. It's so much fucking pain
It's
instantly.
either that or there's that one try-hard cop that just pisses his pants and locks eye contact with you.
Like,
You
fuck
ain't
no.
going anywhere, fills it again. I can do this all day.
Not my
But-
fucking bake.
I honestly don't know what my third one would be, but apparently
Dude,
you do.
If I had that power, I would be a super villain. I wouldn't be a hero. I wouldn't do it for good. I'd be sticking out the sunroof on the 405, pointing at everybody in their fucking cars.
Everyone's just fucking swerving.
You're all bringing down governments. Piss on TV. You're pissing on TV. Piss
shit.
yourself.
That would be
fuck.
good.
Oh, yeah, man.
So is that your
wish.
third wish?
No, I literally
Yes, it
don't.
is.
Okay.
Anyway,
Nick's third wish is he wants to be superpower.
Bladders.
it would.
P-man. Bladder man.
It would either. I don't know. I think it would be so fucking cool to have. I don't remember the fucking name of the movie, but Adam Sandler movie, where he has the remote that controls time.
Click.
Yeah, that's right. That remote
Ooh.
would be awesome.
That would be a cool
Dude,
fucking.
to be able
So
to
do
sit
we
here,
need to talk about all the wisdom we learned now and then back? No, I'm just kidding.
to be able to just be like, oh yeah, like fuck, I really want to binge Game of Thrones. Pause time. Do it all in like 5 minutes.
That would be dope,
and then
dude.
just, or even in an instant, technically, and play it, or like
Ooh,
you just
like Matrix, you're just uploaded with.
yeah, just instant like oh you should read this book. Okay, got it. All right,
Yeah.
next thing.
That
Or
would
like
be so
you
sick.
you just like ate some of like the best food ever, and you could just like rewind and then like flash back in and then just experience it again for the first time.
Totally. That'd be dope.
That'd be fucking
that
fun.
would be pretty cool.
And either that or
You only get 3.
This is 3A.
this 3A. Just like a teacher says you have 5 problems at homework and there's actually 15.
It's like, yeah. 5, what? 1A, 2A, B, C? What the fuck?
I'll make Nick's wish for him.
All right.
So Nick's third wish
You gotta
is
take it.
he is
That's not the wish.
he is immortal.
Oh my god.
You gotta take it. So Nick's third wish is he is immortal, but there's like a golden, let's say, revolver that exists that can kill him, and it's the only thing that can kill him. And you have it, but like every 5 years you lose it.
So this is your 3A, but you're making it my third.
Yeah.
Okay.
And every
I'll take it.
every 5 years you lose it. So the only thing that can kill you suddenly is
Is
just
odd
like
job.
it's
Do
just like in the hands of somebody else.
Do I have like? Am I aging like an old
No.
fuck? Okay.
No, you're Benjamin Button.
You stay.
I don't want to
you
fucking be a baby in 1,000
You stay
years.
like youthful.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down for that.
And so
what
like
movie is that?
what?
Isn't there a movie where he's like young for so long?
I mean, Pirates does
Hundreds of
that.
years.
Pirates has a Fountain of Youth. Game of Thrones has that.
I don't know.
But
Sorry
like-
to interrupt.
Imagine how much you would trip the fuck out if like the one thing that could kill you was like someone broke in your house and stole it.
No shit.
And you'd be like, you were immortal, right? Your whole fucking life. You lived like 200 years, you're fine. And the next thing you know, the one thing that can kill you is missing, and you know someone took it. And like obviously if they took it, they knew its significance. You'd be suddenly terrified of death.
Or what if they didn't know what it was?
Yeah. They sold
And
it on
they're
the
just,
black market.
It's gone.
But doesn't
Whatever.
it disappear?
Just some
After a
trinket.
day?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm saying like you lose it
I'd
every.
lock myself in a safe. I'd lock myself somewhere away for 24
can't
hours,
die?
and I can't.
You just wait it out.
I just wait out those 24 hours, and then I go right back outside for those 4 years,
my panic room.
364 days.
Hey guys, look, Cap woke up from the ice.
And what's your third?
I was gonna say like flying, to be able to just fly like.
Okay, so our third wish. I think we were all kind of going for like superpower thing.
Yeah.
so,
It seems that way.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's cool. I was gonna say that, but I got a hoverboard that does that shit. So
That would be cool if you could limit the wishes to like an item, a skill, and
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
superpower.
that'd be cool.
Okay, because my superpower, I was going to say.
So I've got 2 items.
Yeah.
I'm keeping those items.
no, the Transformer is a skill.
No, you could have your transformer.
My transformer's a hoverboard.
Yes, you beat the system. You have another wish.
You completely just changed his
God.
entire his childhood.
Fucked that genie up.
His childhood is
Well, no.
Oh, that's
You-
amazing.
You could have fucked yourself because like you rubbed the lamp, right? And you're like, all right, I wish for a hoverboard. And the guy's like, all right. The genie's like, all right. And you're like, no, I wish for a transformer. And he's like, yeah, you could. Okay.
What'd you say, genie? Nothing.
Yeah, the
Third
transformer
wish.
comes out and it's like, and it's a hoverboard, and you're like,
oh,
fuck.
2
now I have 2
hoverboards.
hoverboards.
Genie.
Guess what my third wish is gonna be?
You take like a 3-day trip, and you're just like, all right, turn into a car. Fuck, I brought the wrong one.
All right. So I'm changing my wishes because I'm the guest.
Yes, privileges.
Transformer.
Hoverboard.
Transform into a hoverboard.
You could just use my click remote
Click
to
bam.
go back in
exactly.
time
Yes.
Cool.
to change your wishes.
Got it.
Because
We haven't
Genie's
broken any
doing
rules
wishes
yet.
for all of us.
Yeah,
We're all right
exactly.
It hasn't been 10 minutes. It's been 2.
So that transformer turns into a hoverboard and whatever the hell else I want, but mainly hoverboard. Superpower, fly. I totally
Alright.
want to fly.
Okay. Skill.
The genie's like, all right, bam, and suddenly you're a pilot. Fucking damn it.
What's that commercial
Oh,
where
shit.
the guy's like, I just Oh man, I forgot. Oh, $1 million. He's like, I want $1 million.
That's a deer.
And then there's like 1 million deer show up, and they're all bucks. And the genie's like, skill. I'd want to be able to surf any wave, every ocean, no matter what's going on.
That would be badass.
That's fucking cool.
Any, like, no matter what fucking storm.
It's a tsunami about to hit civilization,
Yeah.
just flipping everyone off as
I'm
they're
just
running.
like, Chabra!
Why don't you just catch the wave? Cars and buildings are
It's
getting
like the end of
crushed.
the world. A fucking asteroid has hit the Pacific Ocean, and you're just fucking riding that wave, surviving everything.
Someone
That's like-
clip it.
That's my thought every time I see like a movie like that. I'm like, man, what if you're able to just ride that? Like, just
That's just how you go out.
into it. Like, that's how,
Fuck yeah.
like Independence Day when the mothership was like, and the waves like, blah, and everyone's like, oh my God. And then I'm like, paddle, dude, paddle, 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 paddle.
Oh shit! Like you're at the top, you're at the like middle of it, just riding the wave, and
Yeah.
there are like bodies
You're
flying
just-
past you, and you're just like, Chabra.
You're just like that guy in the news just getting pitted,
Just
bro.
getting pitted. It's just like, it's just like,
And then you're like, bleh, and it was like, bleh, and it was like, ah.
I love that this is only an audio.
Oh man! So the superpower would probably be like the Flash. I think that shit is so
That's
sick.
so dope.
Yeah. And then the skill is to talking to anybody, and then fucking just give me money, please. Just need
Money,
the money.
money,
I mean, if I can steal
money.
money with the Flash thing, but I don't want to be a bad person, so just give me the money.
Yeah, but
still money
it's,
from bad
dude,
people.
it's whatever,
True.
dude. Oh yeah, like Robin Hood.
Fuck yeah!
Like the Flash.
You're Flash dressed up like Robin Hood.
Hell yeah! Except my clothes would fucking melt off. But
No, special tights,
Special
Ooh.
tights.
special green tights.
hell yeah, Men
Yeah,
in
dude.
Tights. That's such a good movie.
The chastity belt. Clink, clink,
Have you
clink.
seen Robin Hood Men in Tights?
No.
Oh,
It's
that's good.
Past my time, man.
That's
so
good.
yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on. If you're gonna say things like to movies I brought up, and you're gonna bring up Robin Hood Men in Tights, which is early '90s, before you were born.
Yeah.
And you're gonna say shit about like movies I brought up that are like 10 years old.
I've never once said it's because you're old.
That's me.
That was it.
I just combined the two of you.
Yeah.
You
we're
know
just
what,
one-
Nick? Ant?
Like in that movie Kicking and Screaming with the soccer movie with Will Ferrell, where the little Asian kid gets up on top of like the giant kid, and the play-by-play announcer during the championship game, he's like, what? They're making some sort of superhuman. What's going on? You guys are
It's
superhuman.
my brother Matt once said to me and my younger brother that I walked into the room and he's like, so help me God, if you don't shut, he was talking to my other brother, he's like, if you don't shut your fucking mouth, I'm gonna punch Nick. And it's just like, and I was like, so it's like something
"Wait, no,
Tubbs
no."
said you fight me for.
Fuck you. It's not past your time.
All right.
Did we
What's your
finish off-
superpower? Yeah, what's your
superpower.
Fuck. What
You
were my-
had
skill
you had
was
your
languages.
safe.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
safe.
You had your languages.
and my click remote was basically my superpower.
So to be
was
able
the
to go back
ability
in time.
to control time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good. All right. That fucking took so long.
Sorry.
You were like, really quick.
Impulse answer. Impulse answer.
Don't give details as to why. 15 minutes later.
3 hours later.
Fuck, imagine a 6-hour podcast.
It'll happen one
No,
day.
Probably.
sorry if you're listening.
Alex Jones. Oh, come on. We'll have a 6-hour podcast. Okay. On that note,
No, fuck that guy.
he's
Let's
not a
talk
fan.
about it. Quick impulse answer.
Podcast 1A.
Thank you again for coming on. It
Hey,
was
thank you.
fucking-
This was an honor. Thank you guys
Yeah.
very much. I think this is great what you guys are doing.
Thank you. Appreciate that, dude.
I never get tired of hearing that. I love it.
Yeah.
It's such a great fucking compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was episode 21.
21.
Yeah. Because with these next two coming up, we'll talk about it, but it may get confusing. We may have to do them backwards, but we'll see.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's true.
Yeah. So, all right. Thank you guys for tuning back in. This was the Nick and Tub podcast. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Later.
Shaka.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Nice.
Oh yeah.
It's almost like you hear the 4 in your head. The 1, 2, 3, 4.
For me, it's always the clap in my head. Like, luckily not in my dick, but in my head.
Just about to say. I was gonna say.
I saw both of you go, and I was like, no, I just say it before they do. I can't let them say it. I just said the clap
Your
in my
eye
head
twitches.
to two grown men. I have laid my own trap. Oh, shit.